Chapter-581 create a cold light around the people. Hangwang is indeed a person who values friendship. When he was in the land of water, he chose to act alone to protect the safety of the Anbu ninjas to deal with the blockade and pursuit of Kurigakure. When he was in the land of vortex, he heard that Tsunade was deeply under the control of the Kurigakure Legion. The district, regardless of life and death, broke into it without hesitation, not only rescued Tsunade, but also found Orochimaru, and rescued the captured Hyuga Haeyoung. To say that the most important person around Hangwang right now is Tsunade. But Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a while, then shook his head. Of course, as long as you can control Tsunade, you will be able to contain the cold light, and indirectly control the cold light, but if you use the spell to control Tsunade, Sarutobi Hiruzen can't do it. I think Tsunade will not be so obedient to allow anyone to do this to her. With Tsunade's tough temperament, it might backfire. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen has long understood that Tsunade is the kind of person who can't be controlled, and her heart is too stubborn. That's why Sarutobi Hiruzen is even more worried. He originally thought that by agreeing to Tsunade to marry Hangwang, Tsunade would naturally form a restraint on Hangwang, but the current situation is that Tsunade has been controlled by Hangwang. If one day, Hangwang really did something that Sarutobi Hiruzen could not accept, then Tsunade is likely to stand on Hangwang's side. Let me think about it. Sarutobi Hiruzen sank, lost in thought. Hyuga Haeyoung stood in front of the desk with a slightly weird expression on his face. In fact, he really wanted to know who gave Lord Hokage such a headache, and what did he do to make Lord Hokage want to hold it tightly in his hand inside. There was silence in the office. Lord Hokage, who do you want to control? Hyuga Haeyoung couldn't help but ask. As he is, it's okay to ask. Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his eyes to look at Hyuga Haeyoung, pondered for a while before saying, cold light. Hyuga Haeyoung was surprised. He did not expect the situation to have deteriorated to such an extent. From Sarutobi Hiruzen's demeanor and tone, Hyuga Haeyoung felt that his relationship with Hangwang was extremely unsatisfactory. Sarutobi Hiruzen had already wanted special means to control a person. This was the first time Hyuga Haeyoung had seen Sarutobi Hiruzen make such a decision. This kind of decision is not normal. For a person, if you trust him, you will be entrusted with a heavy responsibility. If you don't trust him, you will leave him in the corner. If you can't accept the existence of the other person, you can kill him. Hyuga Haeyoung already knew that Hangwang had Mangekyo Sharingan, so he also understood why Sarutobi Hiruzen was cautious. Hide the cold light, kill, completely erased. Not reconciled, such a genius, if he doesn't use it, he is really not reconciled. However, if he continues to be entrusted with important tasks, his authority will continue to increase, and his prestige will increase. It is estimated that in a few years, no one in the Konoha village will be able to check and balance him. Once the Uchiha people know that they have Mangekyo Sharingan, it will inevitably lead to unrest. No one can say exactly what will happen then. Lord Hokage, this subordinate has an idea. Hyuga Haeyoung said with consideration. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Hyuga Haeyoung. If you want to control the cold light, if you subtly influence him, although it is not impossible, it is estimated to be difficult. Although he is only 14 years old, his palace is not necessarily shallower than that of a 40-year-old. Hyuga Haeyoung continued, so, it is the most direct and effective to control the people around him. Tsunade can't. Sarutobi Hiruzen said directly. It's not Tsunade. Hyuga Haeyoung said, the importance of Tsunade to him is indeed enough to influence his thinking, and there is no second person around him who is as important as Tsunade, but we can make one. Make one. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to understand something, and thought of many people one after another, but still a little bit troubled. This. Except Tsunade, the most important thing to him is Uzumaki Kushina, but Kushina is Kyubi, Nine Tails, Jinchuriki, column strength, cannot be lost. Not Kushina, but his niece. Your niece, Hyuga Luo Ning. Yes. Hyuga Huyang nodded and continued. Luo Ning is originally my Hyuga ninja, and her master of life and death is in the hands of main clan, or in other words, I do not need to exercise special control over her, because I control the entire Hyuga clan, they no one dares to oppose me. Lord Hokage should believe my loyalty to you, so, if I control her, it is equivalent to Lord Hokage controlling her. Quote. That's true. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Sarutobi Hiruzen would not question the loyalty of the Hyuga family, but he frowned. However, Hyuga Luo Ning is not that important in Han Guang's heart. Although she is Han Guang's guard, she is more. I have been taking care of Kushina, but in the end I can't compare to Tsunade, Han Guang's wife. What if she is also Han Guang's wife? Hyuga Huyang asked rhetorically. After Lu Han left the route station, he returned to the Anbu station. He also brought the 4 Kagaya children back to the Anbu station, and no one dared to stop him. Inside the office. Contact Kurigakure village to exchange prisoners. Lu Han pointed at the children and looked at Bonin Hyuga. I will leave this matter to you. Although these 4 people are not powerful, they are all from the Kurigakure Kagaya clan. Negative Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, Keke Genkai. If possible, it's better to give priority to Anbu's captured ninja. My subordinates understand, Hyuga Bonin said respectfully, and then he left the office himself even after arranging for the 4 children to be taken away and imprisoned. Sitting on the chair behind the desk, Lu Han took off his mask and pinched his eyebrows, looking a little tired. He's had enough. It's a pity he didn't kill Danzo this time. He had already swore in his heart that if there was another chance, he would never let Danzo escape. Bang! The door of the office was suddenly slammed open, and a figure rushed in a panic, knelt down in front of Lu Han and shouted eagerly, Captain, something is bad, go and save Tai Shuo. This Anbu ninja, named Hitaki Jinbei, is an advanced ninja of Anbu. Huh, Lu Han frowned, stood up and said, what happened to Tai Shuo? He was captured by the Konoha police force. It was the elders of the Uchiha clan who did it themselves. Hitaki Town North Road. Chapter 0582-Homicide. Uchiha. Lu Han's voice slowed and his eyes narrowed slightly. Why did they arrest Tai Shuo? Tai Shuo killed people, Konoha ninja. The evidence is conclusive. Hitaki Town North Road. Lu Han frowned suddenly. Why does this sound so unreliable? Hitaki Taishuo is Konoha's senior ninja, a well-known swordsman genius, and has made many contributions to Konoha. Will he kill Konoha ninjas? Unless that person is missing Nin. But if it is missing Nin, the Konoha police force will not be able to catch Hitaki Taishuo. When did it happen? Lu Han said solemnly. Just now, people have been brought back to the police department. Hitaki Zenbei looked anxious. Originally, the Konoha police force arrested people, unless it involved a special event or there was an order on it, otherwise Anbu would not intervene. Konoha ninja committed murder, and the Konoha police force could handle it with full power. In fact, even Hitaki Taishuo people of this identity kill people, and it is not an ordinary Anbu ninja to intervene. The reason why Hitaki Zenbei hurriedly came to Hangguang after getting the news is because Hitaki Taishuo is his cousin, and now everyone knows that Anbu Captain Han Guang is Hitaki Taishuo's teacher. Cousins, that is to say, Hitaki Taishuo's father and Hitaki Zenbei's father are brothers. This relationship is much closer than the relationship between Hitaki Taishuo and Hitaki Sakumo. Of course, from the perspective that White Fang taught Hitaki Taishuo's swordsmanship, the two are still closer. In fact, before rushing back to Anbu, Hitaki Zenbei had already looked for Hitaki Sakumo, but Hitaki Sakumo had already set out on a mission half a month ago, and all the friends who would be familiar with Hitaki Taishuo were taken away, and they haven't come back till now. Lu Han's house, at the entrance of the huge mansion, a beautiful ninja about 20 years old knelt in front of the door, crying with Yuhi's eyes. He is Hitaki Taishuo's wife. 26-year-old Hitaki Taishuo has just been married for a year. His wife is from a small clan. She is 21 years old and has a good talent. She already has the strength of Jonin. Since she married Hitaki Teishuo, she changed her name to Hitaki Shangyan. She has been kneeling here for half an hour, crying for a while before, hoping that someone would open the door, but no one answered. Tsunade was on a mission a few days ago. Lu Han was stationed in Anbu, and there was no one at home. Call, 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 call. 7 figures appeared successively beside Hitaki Shangyan, forming a half circle, one close to 6 far away, all with masks on their faces and dressed in mystery. Lord Hengguang, I beg you to save Tai Shuo, please. Hitaki Shangyan cried out and grabbed Lu Han's trousers. She knew Lu Han. As Hitaki Teishuo's teacher, Lu Han had previously for the past 2 months. Hitaki Teishuo will be pointed out every few days, sometimes at home, every time Hitaki Teishuo takes the initiative to visit, and he brings Hitaki Shangyan once. Get up and talk, what's going on? Lu Han pulled Hitaki Shangyan up. He did not go to the police department rashly. Although he has the right to directly take people away from the police department, he will bring people down, and if it reaches Sarutobi Hiruzen's ears, it will definitely become cold eyes without law, covering up murderers. Lu Han still doesn't know why Hitaki Teishuo murdered, and whether he was really at fault, so he has to ask first. Sir, Teishuo said this morning that he was going to duel. He said he would definitely win. Hitaki Shangyan explained the situation crying. The people that Hitaki Teishuo killed were extraordinary. Is the sub-commander of the Konoha Guard Corps. This person is Kang Jia. Hitaki Teishuo fought Kang Jia today, and the two had made an appointment for a long time. Such a dual contract is no longer a one-off or two. Hitaki Teishuo imitated the White Fang of the year and continued to challenge Kang Jia. Kang Jia also wanted to grow. It is rare to have someone of equal strength to fight against him again and again, so he never refuses. This is nothing. The duel between the two is not once or twice. They know each other's strength and swordsmanship very well. It is said that it is a duel. In fact, both of them can control it very well, and the possibility of accidents is very small. But this time, Hitaki Teishuo won. He not only won, but also killed Kang Ji, the Konoha super elite Jonin. If Teishuo kills someone in a duel, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it can be regarded as a mistake. How can the police force arrest him? Lu Han narrowed his eyes and said, there is something wrong with this matter. There is no sin in killing the opponent by mistake. It is impossible to be convicted of homicide, and at most it is to receive some moderate punishment for violating the rules that Konoha senior ninjas cannot duel in private. Hitaki Teishuo is a ninja of the S department, and he is also very famous throughout Konoha. If he hadn't been convicted of murder, Uchiha would not dare to touch him. After all, Hokage is going to ask about it sooner or later. The police force. They said. Hitaki Shangyan was almost out of breath, sobbing. There are 6 fatal wounds on Kangji's body. They said that Teishuo was intentional homicide. Lu Han's eyes narrowed. Killing the opponent with a knife technique by mistake will only cause 1 fatal injury at most, and 6 fatal injuries, and it is absolutely impossible to miss. ... Police department, a separate tower, basement level, in the dungeon corridor. The evidence is solid, even if he is a so-called super genius. Lord Hokage can't protect him, he is dead. Humph. The disciples of Han Guang, if they fall into our hands, don't even think about leaving here alive. The middle-aged ninja in his 40s and the old ninja in his 60s were talking in a low voice. The words were gloomy and cold. The former was the #1 captain of the Konoha police force, named Uchiha Mingsuo. And the other is the second elder of the Uchiha tribe, Uchiha Zangluo. Uchiha clan was severely damaged by the rebellion in the back mountains a few months ago. These 2 people are already among the few top powerhouses in the Uchiha clan. I promise, this is just the beginning. Han Guang killed my 2 sons, and I will make him pay the price. Everyone around him will die. Uchiha Zangluo said coldly, his eyes flashing with hatred. Call. A police force ninja appeared out of thin air, knelt down on one knee and said, "Sir, the Cove Light is here." Chapter 0583-Assault and Murder. It's good to come. Uchiha Zangluo smiled coldly. He'd better take Hatake Teishuo away from here, so that I can sue him for abuse of private power from Lord Hokage. Kangwang has always been arrogant and will definitely do this. Uchiha said coldly, there have been rumors some time ago that Lord Hokage is dissatisfied with him. If he abuses his private power this time, even if Lord Hokage does not deal with him, it will not work. Danzo sees him as a thorn in his side and will certainly add to the fire. Quote. Konoha Police Department, in the lobby. Anbu Zongnan has already occupied all the places around the door. Lu Han is standing at the front. Some Uchiha ninjas from the police department gathered outside the door and some were in the lobby. They all looked like they were watching the show. Shang Lu Han had hatred in his eyes. During the Haoshan Rebellion a few months ago, Lu Han killed dozens of Uchiha ninjas, including all members of the Uchiha Patriarch's Guard. Those who hated Lu Han were almost all of their close relatives, and some of them were even close relatives. Lu Han inspected dozens of Uchiha ninjas inside and outside the police department. Orange names are mostly, Yuhi names are few, but most Yuhi names are very powerful, and some have important positions. Lord Hangwang, what wind brought you here? The second elder Uchiha Zangluo came in a hurry, calling him Lord Hangwang, but it was yin and yang. During the war, you Anbu should be very busy. Lord Hangwang came to our police department. There must be something very important, right? Hatake Taishuo is imprisoned here. Lu Han said hoarsely. Yeah. Uchiha Zangluo nodded and shook his head again, as if he was very sorry. Tisk tisk tisk. What a pity, young people are just hot-headed and committed murder, and the one who killed was the elite Jonin in the village. But it's a death penalty, it's a pity. Where is he? Lu Han asked. In the dungeon. Is Lord Hangwang taking him away? Uchiha said in a hurry, showing that he wanted to take him away casually. He was trying to lure Lu Han to take people away. Hatake Taishuo's murder has already been proven. If he takes him or not, he will die. Once Lu Han does this, Uchiha Zangluo will sue. I want to visit the prison. Lu Han said. Naturally he wouldn't be fooled. Uchiha Zangluo was disappointed for a while, but he waved his hand with a smile. This way, please, I will bring Lord Hangwang there. Wait for me here, Lu Han explained, and followed Uchiha Zangluo to the depths of the police department. Dungeon, a separate cell fortified by ceiling. Hatake Taishuo stood by the wall with his hands behind his back, looking up at the small window above the wall. He didn't know what to think, his face was sad. He doesn't have any locks on his body, and his clothes are also Konoha ninja clothes. It doesn't look like he has suffered much. In fact, even if the police department catches him, even if he is a ninja of this level, he would not dare to use punishment, and his case has been confirmed. There is no need for punishment. As for the lack of a lock on his body, it was completely intentional, and it was the order of Uchiha Zangluo, because he really hoped that Hatake Teishuo would escape from prison. Fearing crime to escape from prison and abscond, he is guilty even if he is not guilty. Lu Han appeared outside the gate with Uchiha Zangluo, and Hatake Taishuo, who heard the movement, turned around immediately, knelt on the ground, and kowtowed, "Teacher." His voice was extremely heavy. I want to talk to him alone. Lu Han tilted his head and glanced at Uchiha Zangluo. Please, Uchiha Zangluo said indifferently, turned around and left, and the two guards in the corridor also left with him. He was not afraid of what Hatake Taishuo and Hangwang would say, because anything was useless. Lu Han opened the insight map and confirmed that Uchiha Zangluo and others really left, and then threw Hiraishin Kue with his hands. With Hiraishin Kunai, he flashes into the cell. Get up and talk, what's going on? Lu Han asked, standing beside Hatake Taishuo. Hatake Taishuo got up, his face was extremely heavy. He didn't think Lu Han could save him. I killed him. Hatake Taishuo showed a sad look. as if forcibly suppressing something. Teacher, Xiangyun is pregnant, I hope you can help me. Take care of her. Lu Han was shocked. He didn't expect that Hitaki Taishuo would really kill the people of the same village. And listening to the meaning of Hitaki Taishuo's words, he seems to be about to plead guilty. Why did you kill him? Lu Han asked in a deep voice. He attacked me. In our duel today, he lost to me. When I was leaving, he attacked me. Hitaki Taishuo said, but he is no longer my opponent. I defeated him again. He said some ugly words, so I killed him. I was too impulsive. Hitaki Taishuo told Lu Han exactly what happened. Hitaki Taishuo after losing the duel, and was killed by Hitaki Taishuo. Strictly speaking, this incident is not Hitaki Taishuo's fault, but the problem is that there is no evidence to prove Kang Xie sneaked up on Hitaki Taishuo, but Kang Xie's many fatal wounds were real. The two duel, choosing no man's land. This is a dead end. In a private duel, with no bystanders, Kang Xie died with 6 fatal wounds on his body. Only intentional murder would leave so many fatal wounds. Lu Han left the Konoha police department. He was still scratching his head, and it was a little difficult to handle. No matter what Hitaki Taishuo said, it was a one-sided statement. Lu Han believed in him, which did not mean that others would believe it, and they all knew that Hitaki Taishuo was a disciple of Han Guang. There must be a lot of gossip people. A grove not far from the police department. You go back first. By the way, call Huanfeng to see me. Lu Han said, and then disappeared into the forest. He returned home, and it didn't take long for Uchiha Bai, the captain of the Konoha Anbu squad codenamed Huanfeng, to come to Lu Han's house. In your Wei clan, tell Patriarch Lei Yang that I want to see him at the time and place. Lu Han said. Uchiha Bai was stunned for a moment, and immediately took the lead. Yes. After Uchiha left in Bai, there was no one in the lobby. Lu Han took out a bottle from his space backpack and looked lost in thought. The bottle in his hand is small and contains a pair of round things, Uchiha Yokoyama's Mangekyo Sharingan. Chapter 0584_Win over Uchiha. In fact, Lu Han has thought about how to make use of this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan more than once. He definitely can't use it himself. If it is transplanted to an important person around him, it will definitely cause great trouble. It is not helping people, but hurting people. After all, everyone knows the pattern of Uchiha Yokoyama Mangekyo Sharingan. In fact, the best way to use it is to return him to the Uchiha clan in exchange for sufficient benefits. This pair of eyes is only in the Uchiha tribe, and the trouble is the least, because it is the Uchiha tribe. Although, the Uchiha people have always been Lu Han's enemies. However, it is very different now. Uchiha Lei Yang, the new Uchiha clan leader who has just been in office for a few months, is the enemy of Uchiha Hengshin. As Anbu captain, Lu Han has naturally read the information about their grievances. Normally, Lu Han killed the Uchiha clan. When he took office as the patriarch, the Uchiha clan should have given him the name of Yuhi, but now the actual situation is that only a small group of people have the name of Yuhi, and this small group of people are Uchiha Yokoyama's die-hard cronies. The so-called emperor and courtier. The same is true for the Uchiha tribe. When Uchiha Hengshin was in power, how many people were unwilling, because they were close to Uchiha Lei Yang, or because of their close blood ties, they were rejected by Uchiha Hengshin and became marginalized people of the Uchiha clan. Now, Uchiha Lei Yang has ascended to the throne and has continued to grow. The promotion of cronies occupied important positions, and marginalized people became senior members of the clan, and many of the original senior members of the clan were kicked out of the inner circle. All because of Lu Han, because Lu Han killed Uchiha Hengshin. Just taking this opportunity, I can not only save Taishuo, but also gain other benefits. If I can win the Uchiha clan to support me, those small and medium-sized clans that are attached to the Uchiha clan will definitely meet the wind. In Konoha village, at least 1/3 of the forces can support me in the resolution of some important matters. Lu Han thought, tapping his fingers on the table subconsciously. The last rebellion, the Uchiha tribe suffered heavy losses and their vitality was severely damaged, but Uchiha is still one of the two major tribes in Konoha village alongside the Hyuga tribe. There is no third tribe that can compete with the Uchiha tribe. The so-called county officials are not as good as now. The Uchiha clan controls the Konoha police force, and they have the power to control the affairs of the village, whether they live or die. At dusk, in downtown Konoha, Yi Tea House. In the box on the top floor, Luhan sat in the dark corner, holding the teacup in his hand, waiting quietly. The news of Hatake Taishuo's arrest has not spread, and even Hokage doesn't know, because the Konoha Police Department detained the case and did not send anyone to inform Hokage, and Anbu, who monitors the entire Konoha, also detained the matter. Didn't tell Hokage. The Uchiha tribe was waiting for Luhan to make a move. Luhan, on the other hand, wanted to settle the matter before Sarutobi Hiruzen got the news. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled up in the box, and a figure wearing a luxurious ninja uniform with wide sleeves appeared out of thin air. This man is nearly 50 years old, with long black hair, a dignified bearing, and a pair of long and narrow eyes that are impressive. He is the current patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Leiyang. Cold light, Uchiha Leiyang said indifferently. No grudge against Luhan. On the contrary, Luhan killed Uchiha Henshin and helped him a lot. Power struggles within large clans have always been cruel. Half a point of death. Crash. Luhan poured a cup of tea for Uchiha Leiyang. Uchiha Leiyang sat opposite Luhan with a golden sword. Although he was a little old, he had a strong breath. When Uchiha Henshin was not dead, he was also the elder of the Uchiha clan, and he could be said to have been in the top position for a long time. He held the teacup in his hand, but did not lift the teacup. He said indifferently, I heard about Hatake Taishuo. I have not been involved in the police department for a long time. You're the patriarch, but it's a bit unworthy of the name. Luhan said lightly, with a thorn in his words. Humph. Uchiha Leiyang snorted coldly, this has nothing to do with you. His face was very bad, and the eyes he looked at Luhan also became bad. Luhan talked about his pain. Uchiha Henshin has been in charge of the Uchiha clan for more than 10 years, and his cronies have been deeply rooted in the Uchiha clan. Even Uchiha Leiyang cannot easily dismiss important people among them, otherwise it may cause a strong backlash. In fact, Uchiha Leiyang can rise to power. It was an accident. At that time, Uchiha Henshin, before the decisive battle with Luhan, said that if he died in the battle, he would let Uchiha Leiyang succeed him. This completely made Uchiha Leiyang ugly. Uchiha Yokoyama didn't think that he would die. He was deliberately playing tricks on Uchiha Leiyang, and taunting him was not the patriarch. And now, there is still a lot of opposition to Uchiha Leiyang within the Uchiha clan, and there is a very important reason, that is, Uchiha Leiyang is over 50 years old, and his body has begun to walk down a slope, and there is no Mangekyo Sharingan. Its strength is not the strongest of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Leiyang didn't want to have civil strife within the clan, so he chose to compromise and made concessions in many places, such as the Konoha Police Department. He has little control over it. Although the power is in his hands, he doesn't need it. Currently in charge of the affairs of the Konoha Police Department is the second elder, Uchiha Zangluo. If you're doing it for Hatake Taishuo's sake, I can do nothing. Uchiha Leiyang stood up, and before he could say a word, he was about to leave. Farewell. Wait. Luhan tapped on the table. Uchiha Leiyang had already walked out, not listening to Luhan at all. Call. Luhan flashed and disappeared into the corner. A ghost appeared in front of Uchiha Leiyang, face to face with Uchiha Leiyang, eye to eye, and said, Lord Leiyang, why are you leaving in such a hurry? Luhan's eyes flashed with demons' different Yuhi colors. Uchiha Leiyang was vigilant at first, then he was horrified by the dark color. He was so frightened that he stepped back a few steps, raised his finger and landed Han's eyes, tremblingly said, You. Your eyes. You. In Lu Han's eyes, a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan that Uchiha Lei-Young had never seen before, slowly revolved. You are Uchiha. No, but I can say I am. Can we talk now? Chapter 0585-Alliance. Lu Han and Uchiha Lei-Young sat facing each other again. The latter had not recovered from the shock. He carefully observed Lu Han's Mangekyo Sharingan, and he could already confirm that the pattern, which had never appeared before, was unique. That said, Hengguang's Mangekyo Sharingan didn't come from a transplant. Your Mangekyo, what is? Uchiha Lei-Young doesn't know how to say it. Mangekyo Sharingan is of extraordinary significance to the Uchiha clan. It is because he does not have Mangekyo Sharingan that his position is unstable and he cannot gain access to the older generation of powerhouses. Support. There are also a few strong men of the old generation of the Uchiha tribe, and so far, there are still 2 strong men of the old generation who do not recognize Uchiha Lei-Young because he does not have Mangekyo Sharingan. If I said I could copy Kekkei Genkei, would you believe it? Lu Han asked. Uchiha's thunder eyes narrowed slightly, then shook his head. He doesn't believe it. Just like Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo, how is this possible? Kekkei Genkei exists in the bloodline and is a very unique power. The Mangekyo of the Uchiha tribe can copy it, and they understand the meaning of copying better. Then, if I say that I am the bloodline of the Uchiha tribe, would you believe it? Lu Han asked again. Trust, Uchiha Lei-Young said directly, this is the most credible answer. Uchiha Lei-Young knew Lu Han's true identity. He was only 14 years old and an orphan. He was taken back to Konoha back then, and his biological parents were unknown. More importantly, Uchiha Lei-Young hoped Hengguang as Uchiha ninja. Very much wish he was. The talent of Cold Light, the status of Cold Light, his current identity, and the energy of his master are all very important to today's Uchiha tribe. Oh, don't say that. Lu Han let out a chuckle, blinking his eyes, and Mangekyo Sharingan disappeared. It doesn't matter whether I am a Uchiha ninja or not. At present, there are very few people who know that I have Mangekyo Sharingan. I hope you can keep it a secret. Uchiha Lei-Young nodded repeatedly. He naturally wouldn't say anything to the outside world. This matter has too much impact. He hesitated. He asked again. This Lord Hokage also knows. Yeah, Lu Han nodded. Uchiha Lei-Young's mind suddenly became alive. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually knew about this. Hongguang is still Captain Anbu. What does this represent? It's time for us to formally talk. Lu Han said. I have already learned about Hitaki Taishuo in detail, and the evidence is conclusive. Uchiha Lei-Young has changed his attitude. Perhaps, he has regarded Lu Han as a ninja with Uchiha bloodline. This matter, the second elder in the clan at full discretion, if I don't talk about him. Lu Han interrupted Uchiha Lei-Young's words, then raised his hand to take off the mask and threw it on the table. Show people their real faces. Uchiha Lei-Young already knew Lu Han's face, but when he looked at it again, he felt different. Talking to a cold mask and talking to a face gave people a very different impression, which also gave Uchiha Lei-Young the illusion that Hongguang trusted him. Lu Han deliberately made Uchiha Lei-Young have this illusion. What do you want to talk about? Uchiha Lei-Young was observing Lu Han, young, energetic, and terrifying. Talk about it. If I can help you stabilize your position in the clan, or in other words, I can get you out of your current predicament and make you the king of the Uchiha clan, what can you give me? Lu Han smiled lightly. You can help me, you want to. Uchiha Lei-Young stood up excitedly. He thought of a possibility, that is, Hongguang returned to the clan as a Uchiha ninja to give him support. No, it's not what you think. Lu Han waved his hand. He knew what Uchiha Lei-Young was thinking, and paused. It's another way. I can let you have Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Lei-Young was stunned for a moment. His expression solidified, and after a while, he said, this is impossible. I'm already old, and my bloodline strength is weakened, no matter how much stimulation is given to me. Uchiha Lei-Young didn't say, even if the Uchiha clan was wiped out, that kind of excitement couldn't get him to turn on Mangekyo either. Talent dictates. He smiled wryly, thinking of the embarrassment in the clan at this time. Pat. Luhan took out a small bottle and threw it on the table. Uchiha Leiyang was immediately attracted, and then his eyes glared. He naturally recognized the eyes of the bottle, and the unique pattern was Uchiha Yokoyama's Mangekyo Sharingan. I give this to you, what can you give me? Luhan said indifferently. Uchiha Leiyang's hands were shaking a little, and he wanted to grab the bottle immediately, but he didn't dare to do so, because he knew that he was not Hengguang's opponent, and Hengguang's strength was enough to make most of the strong men in Konoha village fear, including him. Taking a deep breath, Uchiha Leiyang suppressed his excitement and said, "What do you want?" "Money. You don't seem to be short of money." "Support," Luhan said, staring into Uchiha Leiyang's eyes. "In some matters, or in some special circumstances, I need your support, or the Uchiha clan." Support. These two words are simple, but in fact represent the meaning of alliance. Uchiha Leiyang looked at the bottle, then looked at Luhan, without much hesitation, said, "Okay. I agree." After he finished speaking, he grabbed the bottle with his hand. Luhan held down the bottle first, leaned over and stared at Uchiha, and Leiyang said solemnly, "I will give you this pair of Mangekyo. I hope you will keep your promise. I can give it to you, I can get it back. I hope you understand my meaning." Uchiha Leiyang didn't dare to look directly into Luhan's eyes. Luhan had completely suppressed him in his aura. "I understand," Uchiha Leiyang said. Luhan let go. Uchiha Leiyang quickly took the bottle in his hand and observed it carefully. The eyes are real and extremely fresh, as if they were just dug out, and can be transplanted directly. Farewell. No delivery. Uchiha Leiyang hurried away, looking in a hurry. Luhan picked up the teacup and looked out the window with deep eyes. He never said to let Uchiha Leiyang save Hitachi Taishuo, but he believed that as long as Uchiha Leiyang could be a man, he would take the initiative to do it well. Chapter 0586-Abandoned Mine. Hokage Office in Hokage Building. Long time at night, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally heard about Hitachi Taishuo's murder and arrest, and came to tell him that it was not the police force, nor Anbu, but the contemporary head of the Hitachi family, Hitachi Shingyan. Hitachi Taishuo is a ninja of the Hitachi clan and a super genius. Although he only ranks second, the Hitachi clan has few people. For this reason, although Hitachi Shingyan is an old generation strong, he has to put down his face and come to Shangyan. Sarutobi Hiruzen intercedes. "Lord Hokage, I just went to ask Taishuo. Although he was wrong about this matter, he was impulsive. But the reason is still Kang Jia's problem." Hitachi Shingyan said, "Lord Hokage, please give a lighter punishment." He didn't say anything about exoneration. That's impossible. Unambiguous evidence. And he knows Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although he always looks at the overall situation, he is also ruthless. Although Hitachi Taishuo is an elite of Konoha, his identity is not enough to allow Sarutobi Hiruzen to violate the principle. He said, "King Jia attacked him first." Sarutobi Hiruzen said, expressionless. "Yes, although it is a one-sided statement, I believe that Taishuo did not lie." Hitachi Shingyan said. 6 mortal wounds, this is murder with hate." Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Hitachi Shingyan. "This, really?" Hitachi Shingyan's face changed. He had already heard the meaning of Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, but he could only bite the bullet and said, "They." Was really contradictory. "I see, it's okay to go back to rest," Sarutobi Hiruzen said, not thinking about asking any more. Hitachi Shingyan wanted to say something, but he sighed and didn't say anything. He understands that this kind of thing is really trivial to Hokage, because now the war of the ninja world is going on, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind is in the country of rain. Seeing what he means, he wants to do things according to the rules, then. It's over. Hitachi Shingyan got up and left. He just walked to the door when he heard Sarutobi Hiruzen ask, "Is he Han Guang's disciple? Has Han Guang been there?" "Go, Visit the prison in the afternoon. Well, let's go. Afraid. Hatake Shingen just pushed the door, but the door was slammed open. I saw a tall figure entering the office, and when he saw Hokage, he shouted, "Lord Hokage, the murderer must be severely punished. Our guards cannot die in vain." Inuzuka tears. The commander of the garrison army, King Jia, is his subordinate, and he is quite fond of him. Inuzuka also saw Hatake Shingen, but he snorted coldly, and then strode towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hatake Shingen smiled bitterly, a little disheartened. Inuzuka's tears than his status, strength and power. In the entire Hatake family, Hatake Sakumo has the highest status at present. Maybe Hatake Sakumo can really talk about Hokage, but Hatake Sakumo is not in Konoha village at this time. When he was out on a mission, when he came back, it was too late. Late at night. In Hangguang's house, dinner is over. Hyuga Luo Ning and the little girl Kushina have gone upstairs. In the lobby on the first floor, one old and one young are sitting opposite each other. "Lord Xingyan, you have something to say." Lu Han smiled lightly. "Based on my relationship with White Fang, you are not an outsider." "Alas, I have no choice but to disturb me." Hatake Shingen sighed. He was not sure what Lu Han was thinking. After all, Hatake Taishuo had only been apprenticed for 2 or 3 months. This time, Taishuo is wrong. "Oh, it's a pity that he..." "Alas. Lord Xingyan, since Taishuo is my disciple, I will naturally do my best for his business, but this matter is difficult to handle. If I use Anbu's rights for my own sake, I am afraid that there will be xiao to gossip and make Lord Hokage unhappy." Quote. "I understand," Hatake said, then got up and said goodbye without saying anything. Does he really understand? In fact, he misunderstood what Lu Han meant. Lu Han only said that it was difficult to do, and only said that Anbu's power could not be used, but he didn't say no. However, Lu Han didn't want to explain too much to Hatake Shingen, and he didn't want people to know that his hand had been inserted into the Uchiha clan. In the country of Rain, the war is still in full swing, and the forces of all parties are fighting fiercely. 100 miles south of Amegakure village, there is a large mine. This is an iron mine. It has been mined as early as the Sengoku era. Today, most of the resources in the mine have been mined, and this place has become an abandoned mine. Deep in the mine, the magma pool exudes astonishing heat, and the dazzling light envelopes the entire cave. Hanzo stood on the edge of the magma pool, holding a sickle in his hand, looking at the opposite side of the magma pool with full attention, and said in a low voice, "Who are you? Why did you bring me here? What do you want to do?" On the other side of the lava pool, the black-robed figure stood there quietly, and when he heard Hanzo's question, he raised his hand and took off his kabuto hat, exposing his head. He looks very young, but strangely, his skin is black, very dark, not the darker skin tone, but pure black. "Black Zetsu. It's you. You are the black market." Hanzo was surprised. He had dealt with the black market and knew a lot of the inside story of the black market. He even saw the true face of some black market managers. For example, this person in front of him knew that he was the manager of the black market. 1. Just know me. Black Zetsu showed a weird smile. "I have a mission for you. Kill someone, do you accept it?" "Murder. Humph." Hanzo snorted coldly. As he is naturally not afraid of the black market. "You kill people in the black market, do you still need my help?" He was still vigilant, and his heart was full of doubts. "Aren't you also a black market killer? If you kill someone, it means black market killing." Black Zetsu said. "I'm not from your black market, and I can't work for your black market." No, this is not working for our black market. This is a fair deal. As long as you kill this person, I will give you 100 million taels. 100 million taels. Hanzo's eyes lit up. "You must be very interested in this person, and I know, you must really want to kill him." Black Zetsu smiled strangely. "Who is it?" Hanzo was really moved. "Konoha, Hangguang." Black Zetsu continued. I'll give you a chance to draw Hangwang out of Konoha. At that time, you just need to kill him. It's easy for you, right? Chapter 0587 _ The One Who Must Be Killed. Hangwang. Hanzo's eyes flashed with a cold look, and when he thought of Hangwang, he bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth. When he lost to Hangwang, he had to go back to a Megakure village to detoxify and heal his wounds. After that, he was delayed for a while by the war in the Land of Rain. When he wanted to kill the Fire Country daimyo again, the daimyo's head reward was withdrawn. Hanzo is a very contradictory person. He sometimes cherishes talent, but sometimes he regards genius as a threat and kills it. In his heart, Hangwang is a person who must be obliterated. But he didn't expect that before he had time to find an opportunity to kill Hangwang, someone came and said that he would create an opportunity for him to kill Hangwang, and he would give him a commission of 100 million taels. This is almost like a pie in the sky, but it makes Hanzo suspicious. You guys are willing to pay 100 million in the black market. Is Hangwang worth 100 million? Does he have a grudge against you? Hanzo asked. You don't need to know so much, ask about your employer, but it's a big taboo, since you have the identity of a killer, you should understand. Black Zetsu said in a low voice, you should believe in the credibility of the black market, you just need to complete the task, and I will give it to you. Money. Hanzo's face was cloudy and uncertain, thinking. Could this be a trap? Black Zetsu seemed very calm. He believed that Hanzo would definitely take up this task. What time? Hanzo said again. The sky-high price of 100 million taels was really hard for him to refuse. Not sure. Black Zetsu said. Opportunities are created, and the right time is needed. You wait for my news. When the time is right, I will inform you. Okay. Hanzo nodded. Konoha Village. It has been 3 days since Hitaki Taishuo killed King Jia and was detained by the police force. The news has spread throughout Konoha. Most of the senior ninjas are discussing this matter, and those ordinary people who are not identifiable enough to find out the inside information ninja, also heard. The police department has received unprecedented attention. How the Uchiha tribe will deal with Hitaki Taishuo is the question in everyone's mind. Some senior ninjas have heard that although Sarutobi Hiruzen intervened in this matter, he did not take people away from the police department. Obviously, how to deal with Hitaki Taishuo's rights is still in the police department. Many senior ninjas regretted it. They knew that Hitaki Taishuo was finished. Originally, as Hitaki Taishuo, he would not be executed so easily. But the current situation is a bit special. That is, people who are close to Hitaki Taishuo don't care about him, such as White Fang, who don't know about this when he is out on a mission, so naturally he can't control it. And Hitaki Taishuo's teacher, Anbu Captain Hangwang, heard that he had visited the prison, but he didn't use Anbu's right to take people away, and he didn't do anything for the past few days, and seemed to have given up on Hitaki Taishuo. And more importantly, the elite Jonin killed by Hitaki Taishuo is related to the Uchiha clan. Kenji was brought back to Konoha for adoption by Uchiha ninjas when he was young. Although he became self-reliant, he has always been a fan of Uchiha. It can be said that he is a ninja of Uchiha's confidant faction. Such a person was the enemy of Uchiha and disciple of Hangwang. Killed, can the Uchiha tribe make him better? This time, Hitaki Taishuo will definitely be executed with the harshest laws. Since Lord Hokage knows it and doesn't care, it means what decision the Uchiha clan has made, and he won't ask any more questions. Lord Hokage is so busy right now, and the Tenten War meeting is open. How can I take care of this kind of thing when I have time? I heard that the above seems to have begun to trust the Uchiha clan again. When Uchiha Leiyang came to power, Lord Hokage personally presided over the ceremony. During the war, unity is the most important thing. It is impossible for Lord Hokage to let the Uchiha clan go to Hitaki Taishuo. Dissatisfied. Hey, Hangwang is really disappointing. His own disciples didn't save him. As him, it is easy to save Hitaki Taishuo's life. Even if Lord Hokage is to blame, it is nothing compared to human life. Hangguang is really not good. If it is replaced by White Fang, this matter will definitely not be ignored. Unfortunately, Mr. White Fang is currently not in the village. Everywhere in Konoha village is full of such discussions, and many people feel sorry for Hitachi Taishuo. After all, Hitachi Taishuo is so talented. Hokage building, the meeting just ended. Sarutobi Hiruzen went out first, followed by Anbu Captain Han Guang, who was dressed up. As soon as Lu Han went out, a burly figure followed in his footsteps. This is his entourage, Might Dai. Might Dai had been in retreat all the time before, and with Lu Han's permission, he could choose when to go out, and he didn't need to perform any tasks. Might Dai left the gate a day ago. This time, the retreat lasted for half a year. With the help of Anbu's massive resources, he made rapid progress and was able to use the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates stably. The 7th gate state, the strength is enough to reach cage level. Captain, there's talk about Hitachi Taishuo and you everywhere now, isn't it? Might Dai whispered to Lu Han. Ignore those. Lu Han blocked Might Dai's words. In fact, he is also waiting for Uchiha Leiyang to make a move. After all, the evidence is solid, and Uchiha Leiyang wants to overturn the case for Hitachi Taishuo, and he has to make some arrangements. Police department, inside the dungeon passage. Uchiha Leiyang walked at the forefront. His eyes were black. Sharingan had been hidden by him. Behind Uchiha Leiyang, there were more than a dozen Patriarch guards, all of Uchiha Leiyang's cronies. Patriarch, why are you here? The second elder, Uchiha Zangluo, came hurriedly from the secret room in the depths of the dungeon, looked at Uchiha Leiyang without a smile, and called him the Patriarch. He never regarded Uchiha Leiyang as the Patriarch. In terms of strength, he is no worse than Uchiha Leiyang, and there are 2 older generation strongmen behind him. Uchiha Zangluo, you are so courageous. Uchiha Leiyang suddenly shouted. Uchiha was stunned for a moment, and then sneered. Uchiha Leiyang, what do you mean? You, before he could finish his words, he was suddenly shocked, because he saw a pair of eyes in Uchiha Leiyang's eyes. Mangekyo Sharingan. Demonic Illusion Raid. Uchiha Zangluo was dumbfounded and stood still, but was controlled by Uchiha Leiyang's demonic illusion. Puchi. The knife shines. Uchiha Leiyang chopped off Uchiha Zangluo's head with a knife. The headless corpse fell to the ground, blood spurting from the broken neck. Chapter-581 The big event that made a splash in Konoha. Uchiha Zangluo, also a generation of powerhouses of the Uchiha clan, is no worse than the previous Uchiha Leiyang, but he was killed so easily, mainly because he did not expect that Uchiha Leiyang would have a Mangekyo, let alone Uchiha Leiyang. Leiyang will attack him. He didn't know until he died, why he died. Killing Uchiha Zangluo, Uchiha Leiyang didn't even look at the corpse, and continued to walk deep into the passage. The dozen or so guard ninjas behind him all shuddered. They didn't expect the Patriarch to kill like this after transplanting Mangekyo. Decisive. Uchiha Leiyang led people to the secret room deep in the dungeon. Entering the secret room alone, he killed the top-ranked squad leader of the police force, Uchiha Inscription, in the same way. Uchiha Inscription and Uchiha Kangluo are both the top figures in the Uchiha clan, and they are also the leaders of the group of Uchiha clan ninjas who oppose Uchiha Leiyang. In Uchiha Leiyang's heart, they must die. 3 days. The first day, Uchiha Leiyang transplanted Mangekyo Sharingan with the help of his cronies. Because he is also a Uchiha ninja, he can easily control the transplanted eyes. After the wound is healed by medical ninjutsu, there will be no scars left. After that, it took him another day to get used to the power to control the Mangekyo, and it was not until the master's ability to hide the Mangekyo that he came out to meet people. Non-Uchiha ninjas, after getting transplanted Sharingan, can hardly control Mangekyo to hide, but Uchiha Leiyang can, he is Uchiha. A day ago, Uchiha Leiyang called together the older generation of strongmen who are still alive in the Uchiha clan and let them know that they own Mangekyo. For him, saving Hatake Taishuo is just an incidental matter, and sending Hangguang favors. What he really wants to do is to be a complete master Uchiha clan. There must be bloodshed. But after that, he will make the Uchiha tribe more united, and only the united Uchiha tribe will be stronger. Another day passed. At dusk, the day's emergency meeting had not yet ended. In the first meeting room of the Hokage building, a dozen important people were sitting around the round table, expressing their opinions and discussing countermeasures. Luhan sat opposite Sarutobi Hiruzen, with Hyuga Huyang on the left and Inazuka Tears on the right. Luhan never spoke. He came to 10:10 for the meeting, but it seemed like he was here to make up the numbers. The Kumogakure village army has already reached the border, and it is estimated that it will not be long before the invasion of the land. Once the Mine Earth War begins, the Iwagakure army in the Land of Rain will be affected. For example, if they withdraw, our Konoha army will inevitably suffer extreme great pressure. Kaharu Udatane was speaking. Snapped. The door of the conference room suddenly opened, and a ninja from Anbu Zero Squadron walked quickly to Sarutobi Hiruzen and whispered to Sarutobi Hiruzen with a secret technique. Sarutobi Hiruzen listened with a blank face at first, but his face changed quickly. When the ninja finished speaking, his face was completely dark. For some reason, he glanced at the cold light, calmed down a little, and immediately moved again. Opened. Although I watched it for a short time, it was still noticed by people with a heart. The nameless ninja leaves and the meeting continues. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed a little absent-minded, and seemed to be holding other things in his heart. The high-level Konohas present also had different thoughts and frequently looked at Hangguang. Judging from the situation just now, there must be something major happening outside, and it is very likely that it has something to do with Hangguang. Relation. The meeting that was supposed to end in 2 hours ended abruptly after another half an hour. After announcing the meeting, Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly left the meeting room and went straight to the Uchiha tribe. Luhan walked out of the conference room, but he didn't see Might Dai. He was puzzled. When he walked out of the Hokage building, Might Dai came in a hurry, came to Luhan, and whispered, "Captain, the news just now, the Uchiha clan." This evening, at the same time as the emergency meeting at the Hokage building, there was a big sensation in Konoha village. The news spread all over Konoha in a very short time. If this matter can be summed up in one sentence, Uchiha civil strife. But many of the details are worth pondering. First, the civil strife of the Uchiha clan was short-lived. Within an hour, the civil unrest subsided. According to rumors, the elders of the clan's strong family took action to help the clan leader Uchiha Leiyang quell the civil unrest. Second, although this civil strife caused dozens of ninjas in the Uchiha tribe to be injured, the number of deaths was very small, only a few people, but these people who died were all important people in the tribe. For example, the second Uchiha tribe elder Uchiha Zangluo. And there were rumors that Uchiha Zangluo was secretly executed after being caught. Third, the reason for the civil strife. It is said that Uchiha Zangluo intended to overthrow Uchiha Leiyang's rule, but the plan was exposed. Uchiha Leiyang took the lead, and there were also rumors within the Uchiha tribe that Uchiha Zangluo was arrogant and cruel, and was murdered when he took control of the police department. The matter of the innocent, it is said that the murder of Hatake Taishuo was designed by him. Fourth, Hatake Taishuo has been acquitted. Compared with the civil strife of the Uchiha clan, the matter of Hatake Taishuo is really trivial, but everyone with a heart knows that Hatake Taishuo is a disciple of Hangguang. To please the cold light. If it wasn't for the Uchiha clan who took the initiative to say that Hatake Taishuo was assassinated, who would know? And after this matter was known by the high-level officials of Konoha, it was another thought. They all understand that the reason why the Uchiha clan has internal troubles and the reason why Uchiha Leiyang is unstable is the meaning of Sarutobi Hiruzen. It was Sarutobi Hiruzen who wanted to make Uchiha like this. Because such Uchihas are not a threat, and they also know that with the energy of Uchiha's Thunder Sun, it is impossible to clean up internal troubles. But he did it. Who helped Uchiha Lei-young? This is really fascinating. Lu Han returned to Anbu. The detailed information about the civil unrest of the Uchiha clan was already on his desk, including how Uchiha Zangluo assassinated Hitaki Teishuo. Chapter 0589-Dad. Details of S-Class Case Number 196. After investigation, Hitaki Teishuo killed Kenji and planned it for Uchiha Kangluo. Kenji was ordered by Uchiha Kangluo to kill Hitaki Sakumo in a duel. The murderous intention is complete, and he intends to cut Hitaki Teishuo under the knife with a desperate attitude, and when he launched a sneak attack, he has been controlled by demonic illusion, and is not afraid of death. Later, Uchiha Zangluo appeared at the first time and arrested Hitaki Teishuo on the charge of murder, intending to execute him. Motive of assassination. Uchiha Zangluo and Hitaki Teishuo had a personal grudge for a long time. Lu Han looked at the information scroll, the corners of his mouth curled up. Uchiha Lei-young is not a good screenwriter. The stories he made up are not very credible, not to mention other things. Just the fact that Uchiha Zangluo and Hitaki Teishuo have personal grudges, it is difficult to convince people. They are all very surprised, there is very little communication, and the possibility of personal grudges is very low. However, Uchiha Lei-young is a crisp, even ruthless one. He has already executed Uchiha Zangluo in secret, but the name of the execution is not who he framed, but because he launched a civil strife, which led to the fact that even Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen could not question why Uchiha Lei-young secretly executed Uchiha Zangluo, and then death without proof. Things that are dead without proof are naturally made up casually. Believe it or not. Being able to fight with Uchiha Yokoyama for more than 10 years and still not be excluded from the top management of Uchiha, is not a simple character, but also ruthless. If he dares to do this, he must have received the full support of the older generation, compared to the gains and losses of individual ninjas. Maybe, the patriarch who owns the Mangekyo Sharingan is more important. Lu Han knocked on the table, put away the scroll, and thought deeply. Lu Han wanted to know now, what did Sarutobi Hiruzen think? Into the night, the Hokage building is still brightly lit. Sarutobi Hiruzen was the only one in the empty office. He was sitting on the sofa for guests, looking very tired. His fingers were constantly pinching his eyebrows, and his face was not very good. He has just returned from the Uchiha clan, and has already talked to Uchiha Lei-young and the extremely old generation powerhouses of the Uchiha clan. Didn't get any substantive useful information. There has been a unified voice within Uchiha, that is, Uchiha Zangluo intends to usurp the throne. People have been executed by Uchiha Lei-young, and Sarutobi Hiruzen can't say anything about this. For any tribe, the patriarch has the right to directly execute rebels. Sarutobi Hiruzen was vaguely uneasy, and he always felt that something was wrong. Intuition told him that this matter had nothing to do with Han Guang, otherwise Hitaki Teishuo would not be released, but he could not find any evidence, let alone how Han Guang inserted his hand into the Uchiha tribe, even if he had Mangekyo Sharingan, this not enough either. At night, at Lu Han's house. In the lobby, Lu Hanwei was sitting on a chair with Kushina in her arms. Kushina's eyes were yuhi. She was reprimanded by Lu Han again. At this time, she was asking for comfort, but she couldn't get up because of Lu Han. Teacher, this time, is it you? Hitaki Teishuo stood in front of Lu Han, hesitating to say anything. After he was released, he immediately came to Lu Han, but Lu Han was in a meeting, so he returned. I went home and didn't come to visit until the evening. Lu Han waved his hand, neither saying yes nor no. It's good for people to be safe. We must learn a lesson and deal with the enemy decisively. But if it will cause trouble, try not to leave evidence. Lu Han will not talk nonsense about arguing less with others, and be kind to the enemy. Just kidding about your life. Disciple, remember, Hitaki Teishuo respectfully said. It's late at night, Lu Han said. Disciple, retire. Hatake Taishuo said very intelligently. It wasn't until Hatake Taishuo left that the little girl Kushina raised her head in Lu Han's arms and pouted, "Dad, what is decisiveness?" Crack. Lu Han immediately played Kushina's forehead. "Scare the road. Little girl, is it? Tell you not to call me dad. I am 14 years old, no such a big daughter." Kushina was trained today as that she called Lu Han's father when she came back from school. "I don't know who to learn from." Kushina suddenly burst into tears, sniffing and said, "They all have fathers, but I don't have one. They say I'm a wild child, and you won't let me fight. Kushina is so pitiful, Kushina is a wild child." Cried again. Lu Han was helpless and comforted for a while. The turmoil of the Uchiha people passed quickly, but the impact left behind was far-reaching, and the Konoha village was surging. After another half-month, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru returned from their mission. Hokage office in Hokage building. 3 reported their mission to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and then Sarutobi Hiruzen left to Jiraiya and Orochimaru, leaving Tsunade alone. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen alone, Tsunade has long since lost his visceral respect for Sarutobi Hiruzen, and all that remains may be awe. All because of Lu Han. In fact, Tsunade had a hard time understanding Sarutobi Hiruzen's prejudice against the Uchiha clan and his fear of Mangekyo Sharingan. Of course, Mangekyo Sharingan can control the tailed beast, but the eyes are partly good and bad, and only people can distinguish good from bad. "Hyuga Luo Ning, do you know him?" Sarutobi Hiruzen said straight to the point. Tsunade was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Sarutobi Hiruzen to mention an unimportant person. He paused and said, "I know, Han's entourage in Anbu has been helping Han to take care of Uzumaki Kushina for the past few months, a very mature little girl." "How? I don't understand why she suddenly said that. Huyang told me that she likes cold light, you know," Sarutobi Hiruzen said again, looking directly at Tsunade. Tsunade's face changed, his eyes were constantly changing, and the weather was uncertain. After a while, he said, "I know, Han is very good, and there are not a few people who like him and have a crush on him. Hyuga Luo Ning always follows Han, and it is normal to like him. The teachers want her to leave Han's side. I don't think it is necessary. I don't mind." In any case, Tsunade didn't want Sarutobi Hiruzen to touch Han Guang's people. "No," Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head, "I didn't want her to leave, I was going to let her marry Han Guang." Chapter 0590-half a year. Sarutobi Hiruzen had already decided on this matter, but he never said it, because the biggest resistance for Hyuga Luo Ning to marry Han Guang was not from Han Guang himself, but Tsunade. This matter, only Sarutobi Hiruzen can tell Tsunade personally. Tsunade's eyes widened with disbelief. "I have discussed this matter with Huyang, and he agreed." Sarutobi Hiruzen added, "Hengguang once saved Haeyang's life, and the Hyuga family can't repay this kindness. Hyuga Luoning is Haeyang's daughter. I also like the cold light, so push the boat with the current, and this is also conducive to the unity of the village, isn't it?" How can he have 2 wives? Tsunade called out, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen angrily. "I said yes, then yes." Sarutobi Hiruzen said firmly, "You should understand Han Guang's current situation. It's not that I don't trust him, but that he has too many secrets that make it hard to believe. Such a person can guarantee Konoha's future. Prosperity can also destroy Konoha. Don't you understand?" "What does this have to do with Hyuga Luo Ning?" Tsunade slapped the table angrily. "Hyuga Ninja is the most loyal," Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Walked out of the Hokage building, Tsunade had recovered, and although she still couldn't believe Sarutobi Hiruzen would do this, she didn't show it. Jiraiya and Orochimaru greeted him. Tsunade walked past the 2 of them without saying a word, and disappeared in an instant. How? Something happened. Jiraiya and Orochimaru looked at each other and could see the worry in each other's eyes. Anbu was stationed, Lu Han was fighting the faceless man in the deepest training ground. Tsunade's voice sounded outside. Lu Han was pleasantly surprised, put away the faceless man, and replaced the bloody clothes with ninjutsu. Open the seal barrier. I'm back, I want to die. Lu Han hugged Tsunade, turned around a few times before putting it down, and kissed Tsunade's lips. Tsunade responded enthusiastically to Lu Han, and only separated from Lu Han until he was out of breath. There were only 2 people in the training ground, and the ninja outside had already left wisely. It's getting more and more beautiful, I love it to death. Lu Han pinched Tsunade's face and said nasty words. Tsunade's eyes were complicated, and he grabbed Lu Han's hand and pulled it down, hesitant to say anything. What's wrong? Lu Han noticed the abnormality and said with a solemn expression, what happened? Han, there's something. I mean, if it were possible, a hypothesis, would you marry another woman? Why do you ask such a question? What's wrong with you? Lu Han looked at Tsunade in surprise. Answer my question first, will you marry another woman? Tsunade said. Of course not. Why do I do this? It's enough to have you, don't you think about it? Lu Han seemed to remember something, and asked uncertainly, you don't mean Luo Ning, that girl? I swear, I really have nothing to do with her, she is still young and ignorant. Really? Of course it is. Then why do you smell like her? What's the smell? Well, I admit, I did have a hug with her, but it was all her initiative, and I refused every time. If you don't believe me, you can go and check with her. Guarantee, she is still perfect. I believe you. Tsunade lowered her head, she remembered that Hyuga Luoning would take the initiative, and she instigated it. What's wrong with you? Lu Han asked worriedly. Tsunade hugged Lu Han violently and cried, what did you do wrong? She was more afraid than Lu Han. She didn't know how Sarutobi Hiruzen would treat Lu Han once he didn't do what Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Han, if you want to marry her, you must understand. You must marry her. Tsunade cried in Lu Han's arms. Lu Han was stunned. Time flies by like a white horse. 32 years of Konoha, November. It has been half a year since Lu Han married Hyuga Luoning. Lu Han originally resisted this matter because he didn't want to hurt Hyuga Luoning. Once something went wrong with him, Hyuga Luoning would be finished, but Tsunade persuaded him to do it again and again. Crying, finally convinced him. The wedding was very low-key. After all, they are married to a concubine, so it is not a big fanfare. The wedding will be held in Lu Han's mansion. Not many people were invited, but many important Konoha figures were still present, such as Hyuga Huyang, Uchiha Leung, Hitaki Sakumo and so on. This morning, Lu Han woke up faintly and was awake for a while. He turned his head and looked at the other side of the soft collapse, only to see 2 lovely people hugging each other, sleeping soundly. Hyuga Luoning curled up in Tsunade's arms, hugging Tsunade's waist, with dry tears in the corners of his eyes. Lu Han recalled the absurdity of last night and rubbed his nose subconsciously. In fact, he didn't want to be so absurd. Hyuga Luoning married and slept in separate rooms. She and Tsunade each had a room. Lu Han took turns sleeping, but because Lu Han was in good health, Tsunade often begged for mercy. Hyuga Luoning couldn't stand it at all. In the end, it was Tsunade. Clapboard, 3 people lived together. Lu Han turned over. Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning both woke up after that. Hyuga Luoning rubbed in Tsunade's arms in a daze, looked up and saw Tsunade squinting at him. He immediately smiled and kissed Tsunade's face. Tsunade was suddenly angry. He glared at Hyuga Luoning. Cough, you two, it's all right. Lu Han coughed. The 2 women suddenly turned to Yuhi. The 2 got up one after another and put on their clothes under Lu Han's appreciative eyes. Hyuga Luoning was deliberately twisting and twisting there. Tsunade, who was dressed first, pinched Hyuga Luoning's face and said angrily, "Damn girl, don't mess with him. If you set him on fire, I won't save you. I'm not afraid of him. Hyuga Luo Ning wrinkled her nose, and then called out, yeah. But it was Lu Han who suddenly took action and pulled her back to the soft collapse. Tsunade suddenly showed a helpless look, gave Lu Han a blank look and said, I'll go down to you first, don't play too much, today's meeting is very important and can't be delayed. Lu Han gave Tsunade a reassuring look. Hyuga Luo Ning began to cry for help. Sister, don't go. Don't go. Chapter 0591 Tsunade's Proposal. Lu Han finally let Hyuga Luo Ning go. Hyuga Luo Ning escaped and left the room, not even putting on her clothes, but holding her in her arms. Is a corridor outside the room. Hyuga Luo Ning just ran out when she saw the door on the side opened. Uzumaki Kushina, who was wearing cute pajamas with sleepy eyes, stood at the door and asked while rubbing his eyes, what's wrong? It's so noisy that no one is allowed to sleep in the morning. Huh, Sister Luo Ning, where are your clothes? It's not that Hyuga Luo Ning didn't wear it, she just wore less. Little girl, don't ask if you shouldn't. Hyuga Luo Ning Yuhi said. You won't be kicked out by your father, right? The little girl said strangely, with the appearance of a little adult, I'll just say, 2 women and 1 man must fight. Damn girl, what did you say? Hyuga Luo Ning Zhang Kiba danced into Kushina's room and closed the door. She got dressed first, and then urged the little girl to get dressed. After taking the little girl downstairs, the little girl went to the yard to practice the exercises. Tsunade was already preparing breakfast in the kitchen, and Hyuga Luo Ning went in to help. Lu Han fell asleep again. After an hour, the neatly dressed Lu Han walked down the stairs. The food was already set on the dining table downstairs. Little girl Kushina was already sitting at the table, looking like she couldn't wait. But Lu Han didn't come yet, and she didn't dare to use chopsticks. The rules at home were the same. Tsunade decided that Kushina was afraid of Lu Han, but she dared to act like a spoiled child with Lu Han, but she didn't dare to act like a spoiled child to Tsunade. Tsunade walked to the table with the last dish. Hyuga Luo Ning took the bowls and chopsticks on 3 tables and served rice to several people. It's so fragrant. Lu Han smiled and kissed Tsunade's face first. Hyuga Luo Ning also took the initiative to come over and let Lu Han kiss, and then a few people took their seats and took the meal that Hyuga Luo Ning handed over. Lu Han was about to move chopsticks, but saw the little girl sitting opposite, with a stinky face, pouting angrily. Little ancestor, who messed with you? Lu Han asked. Kiss them, but don't kiss me. I really am not biological. Kushina didn't even look at Lu Han, just muttered there. Lu Han's head was full of black lines, and he wasn't his own. Okay, you. Lu Han smiled, put his probe on Kushina's face and kissed it, and then touched Kushina's little head. Kushina immediately smiled. A child is a child, and it is easy to coax. Have a meal. Really like a family of 4, happy. Tsunade served Lu Han some food, and then said, I have a proposal for today's general meeting, and you have to support me at that time. What proposal? Lu Han asked curiously. This. Tsunade handed the prepared scroll to Lu Han. Lu Han opened it and looked, and then his face became strange. Tsunade's proposal turned out to be, let the medical ninja go to the battlefield. This matter was also mentioned in the original work. Tsunade's proposal was not passed in the original work. Most of the ninjas who attended the meeting opposed this proposal, but there was a special person who expressed support, that is Kato Dan, and Tsunade also. It was through this incident that he got closer and closer to Kato Dan and eventually became lovers. In the original book, Kato Dan was Tsunade's first love and died in battle. But now, in the Hokage world where Lu Han lives, it is naturally impossible for this to happen again. Tsunade is already Lu Han's wife. What? Seeing Lu Han's strange expression, Hyuga Luo Ning couldn't help but look at it. He glanced at the content on the scroll and hesitated. I'm afraid this proposal will not pass. It is too dangerous to let medical ninjas go to the battlefield. Sister, I'm afraid. She looked at Tsunade. It is indeed very dangerous to have medical ninjas on the frontal battlefield. Tsunade said seriously, but the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Many ninjas are not fatally injured on the battlefield, but because they did not come to remember the treatment, their injuries deteriorated and they died. Medical ninjas on the battlefield can reduce the occurrence of such things, and as long as they are properly protected, medical ninjas may not necessarily die on the battlefield, such as me, I am also a medical ninja. Quote. But, Hyuga Luo Ning wanted to say something, but didn't dare. You don't support me either. Tsunade looked at Hyuga Luo Ning. How could it be? Support. Hyuga Luo Ning laughed immediately, obviously saying something against her heart. She didn't dare to offend Tsunade. You want to help me? Tsunade looked at Lu Han. Yes. Lu Han nodded, but said again, but. Lu Han pointed to his cheek with a smile. Tsunade decisively went up and kissed. Shy, so shy. The little girl Kushina yelled. Tsunade gave her a sideways glance. She was honest. Han, I know, you may not agree with this proposal in your heart, and I don't expect this proposal to be passed once, but at least the foundation must be laid. Tsunade said, and said with some anger, damn, Jiraiya and Orochimaru, these two bastards, they don't support me. They don't support it. Lu Han raised his brows. Yes, the impact of this matter is too great. Although they have a good relationship with me, it does not mean that they listen to me in everything. So, that's because they have no vision, no foresight at all. Don't worry, I'll let the proposal pass. Tsunade looked at Lu Han in surprise. She always believed in Lu Han, but Lu Han said that the proposal would be passed. She felt that Lu Han was talking big. Even the people who had the best relationship with Tsunade were not optimistic about the proposal. The proposal passed. Resistance can be imagined. In fact, the best result Tsunade expects this time is to get some support and lay a solid foundation for the next mention. Can it really pass? It's difficult. Hyuga Luo Ning didn't believe it, and muttered softly. Morning. In front of the Hokage building, there were crowds of people. Meeting started. Many people had already arrived in advance, and most of the important people in Konoha village had come. Today's meeting is extremely important. The full name of this meeting is Konoha All Jonin War Decision-Making Meeting, referred to as Jonin Meeting. This is the highest level general meeting held in Konoha village since the outbreak of the Second Ninja World War. Proposals can be made, and each proposal needs to be approved or rejected by vote. Only Hokage has a veto power, but generally this veto power will not be used, otherwise the conference will lose its meaning. Chapter 0592_Power. Outside the Hokage building, more than 100 people, including senior Konoha ninjas and important people, gathered in twos and threes. Under the shade of a tree, Lu Han and Hyuga Huyang stood together. Lord Hangguang, what proposal did you prepare this time? Hyuga Huyang asked. I'm still considering it, Lu Han replied, glancing at Hyuga Huyang. Lord Huyang, how about you? Speaking of which, Hyuga Huyang is Lu Han's elder, because he married Hyuga Luo Ning, who is Hyuga Huyang's nephew. Hyuga Luo Ning's father Hyuga Haeyang, but Hyuga Huyang's younger brother, so from Hyuga Luo Ning from Ning's side, Hyuga Huyang is Lu Han's uncle. But Lu Han would definitely not recognize him. At the beginning, he made the decision to marry Hyuga Luo Ning to Lu Han, but he had no good intentions. Although Lu Han did not suffer from the loss of accepting the beautiful girl into the room, he would not be grateful to Hyuga Huyang. It's a proposal for funding. Hyuga Huyang said, during the war, the funding of the major tribes should also be adjusted. I have already told Lord Hokage that it will be approved 80% of the time. It's time for adjustment. Lu Han nodded. In fact, he knew in his heart that such an important proposal as funding adjustment would not be brought up by Hyuga Huyang without Sarutobi Hiruzen's permission. Even, this proposal is probably what Sarutobi Hiruzen meant. Hyuga Huyang is just a person who made a proposal. Funding is too sensitive. If Sarutobi Hiruzen comes to mention it directly, it will definitely lead to some clan dissatisfaction. Hyuga Tiger Young mentions it is another matter. No matter what, the blame will not point to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan chatted with Hyuga Huyang for a few more words, and when he saw Jiraiya and the others coming, he pleaded guilty and left. Tsunade has been talking to some of Konoha's senior medical ninjas, and she's canvassing herself, but it doesn't seem to be going well. Don't give up yet. Jiraiya walked over to Tsunade, next to Orochimaru. As I said, your proposal is whimsical. Ah. Tsunade turned around and hit Jiraiya in the stomach with an elbow, and Jiraiya was speechless in pain. Crow's mouth. Tsunade glared at Jiraiya angrily. Actually, what he said is good. Give it up. This kind of proposal is not good for you. Orochimaru said coldly. Bastard, who asked you to say? Tsunade suddenly got angry and raised his fist. A hand suddenly stretched out from behind, grabbed Tsunade, and said hoarsely, calm down, don't let people see jokes. But Luhan just walked behind Tsunade and stopped Tsunade, and everyone else had left with interest. Now, there are only 4 of them left. Orochimaru had black lines all over his head. He didn't expect Tsunade to be so sensitive on this matter. Nearly beaten. Already married, yet still so angry. Jiraiya rubbed her stomach and complained, besides, we are doing it for your own good, and such an impossible proposal, don't mention it, it will affect your reputation. Who said it was impossible to pass? Luhan said, I will support her. Jiraiya looked at Luhan in surprise, then grabbed Luhan's neck and whispered, no, Han, do you really want to support her brainless proposal? Let me tell you, women or I can't get used to it. I've come here, although I'm not married, but I know quite a few women. I tell you, it's more severe than necessary, or she'll kick her nose. Ah. Before Jiraiya could finish speaking, Tsunade kicked him out. Not many people who dare to hang out with Captain Anbu in public. Not many hits by Tsunade all the time. Jiraiya has both. 9 o'clock in the morning. The door to the largest public meeting room in the Hokage building opened and everyone began to enter. Luhan pulled Tsunade and waited for a while, until almost all the people outside the Hokage building entered, and 8 figures came in a hurry. 8 senior ninjas from Anbu, including Hyuga Benin, Uchiha Bai, and Might Dai, arrived on time. It was agreed that there would be a formal meeting at 9 o'clock, and they were not late. The meeting room is huge and the environment is excellent. On the rostrum, Sarutobi Hiruzen was already seated, and there were only 2 people sitting around him. One was Danzo, the other was Kaharu Udatane, and several other advisors were sitting below. Below the rostrum is an arc-shaped conference table, which half surrounds the rostrum. The one closest to the rostrum is the first row, with a total of 8 rows. According to the level of status and position, there are already hundreds of senior Konoha ninjas sitting. Hyuga Huyang, Uchiha Leung and other clan chiefs are sitting in the first row. This meeting is said to be a general meeting, but it is impossible for all the Jonins in Konoha to come together, because the front line is fighting, and a large number of Jonin are on the front line, and even in Konoha, some Jonin have to stick to their posts and cannot leave without authorization. However, these ninjas present can basically represent the entire Jonin of Konoha, such as the Uchiha clan. There are 6 people in total. These 6 people are high-level Uchiha clan. They are enough to represent the entire Jonin of the Uchiha clan. The meeting has not started yet, and there is a lot of noise in the venue. Luhan brought Tsunade into the door, followed by 8 Anbu ninjas. Except Tsunade, all of them dressed up as mysterious and cold guys. Tsunade held Luhan's arm, and his expression was serious. There was silence in the venue. Lord Cold Light. Lord Hangguang, you are here. Captain Cold Light. Master Tsunade. Luhan walked in with Tsunade, and many senior Konoha ninjas who had already taken their seats stood up and greeted him. Uchiha Leung also nodded to Luhan. Luhan showed a moderate indifference, but the necessary people still responded. On the podium, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was sorting out the files, stopped and frowned slightly. Half-year. The cold light keeps a low profile, never goes out for tasks, and rarely has contact with people, but his power is increasing day by day, which is not a pleasant thing for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan Tsunade came to the first row. Tsunade couldn't have sat in the first row. The first row was filled with figures such as legion commanders, clan chiefs, high-level advisors, etc. She had strength and status, but her position was not high. Both Jiraiya and Orochimaru sat in the second row. However, she is Han Guang's wife, and Luhan took her to the first row, and no one dared to say anything. 9:10 in the morning. The door to the meeting room was closed on time. The meeting begins. Chapter 0593_vote. This Jonin conference, the total number of people attending the conference exceeds 200, and every ninja who attends the conference has the right to make a proposal. However, the number of ninjas who can make proposals is still relatively small, such as the Hyuga clan. Although other people have come, it is enough for the patriarch to mention them. In the morning, a total of 28 proposals were discussed and voted on, only 2 were rejected, and all the others were passed. Proposals must be well prepared. Before the meeting, extensive opinions were solicited. That would be a shame, very few would do this. Take a 1-hour break at noon, eat and drink tea. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the meeting continued. It is worth mentioning that Hatake Tsukumo came back in the afternoon and brought a few members of the S department into the venue. With Sarutobi Hiruzen's permission, they were officially listed as members of the meeting, and they could make proposals and vote. The meeting is in progress. The first row, Hatake Taishuo was sitting next to Luhan. He was sitting there as the captain of S Corps. On the other side of Luhan was Tsunade. Han, are you ready? Hatake Taishuo suddenly tilted his head and whispered, any good ideas? Tell me first. It's been half a year since the last draw with Luhan, and he and Luhan have discussed more than a dozen times. It's a competition, not a duel. Whoever gets injured first will be the winner. The relationship between the two has also improved by leaps and bounds, and they can be regarded as close friends. I haven't made up my mind yet. Luhan said softly with a smile. However, Tsunade has a proposal, and I will support her. Really? Hatake Taishuo leaned forward, looked past Luhan, looked at Tsunade, and whispered, brother and sister, what proposal? Let the medical ninja go to battle, Tsunade whispered back. Hatake Taishuo's face suddenly became extremely strange, and it could even be said to be twisted. He stopped asking, stopped talking, and sat upright. Because he knew that Tsunade had a bad temper. If Tsunade caused any trouble at the meeting, he didn't want to be ashamed. Tsunade's black face, she had already got the answer from Hatake Taishuo's attitude, and her heart suddenly felt a little sad, and now, except Luhan, no one supports her. She couldn't help holding Luhan's hand and clenched it tightly. Luhan looked at Tsunade, scratched his palm in Tsunade, and blinked. At 3 p.m., after the 40th proposal was voted on by all, Sarutobi Hiruzen announced its approval. Immediately, after obtaining permission from Sarutobi Hiruzen, Tsunade got up and took out the scroll from his arms, read the 42nd proposal, and explained the proposal. Pros and cons. I propose that the village should send medical ninjas to participate in the frontal battle. As soon as Tsunade said his proposal, there was an uproar, and there were buzzing discussions in the venue until Sarutobi Hiruzen said, silence, these sounds disappeared. Tsunade continued, I think there are 2 advantages to having medical ninjas on the battlefield. First, it can reduce battlefield casualties and maintain the combat capability of the troops. This will be very effective. The medical ninjas always stay in the rear and in the rear camp, waiting for the injured to be sent back for treatment, which took a lot of time. Some ninjas had a chance to be rescued, but died on the way back to the camp. Second, medical ninjas should also experience the tempering of blood and fire. It is said that medical ninjas can only be protected. I am also a medical ninja. Although the main ability of medical ninjas is medical treatment, it does not mean that they have no combat ability. Tsunade spoke for a few minutes, expounding her views from multiple perspectives. In fact, she understands the role of medical ninjas on the battlefield better than others. Although her proposal is risky, it is very feasible. Tsunade finished speaking. There was a lot of noise in the venue. What a nonsense! How can medical ninjas be allowed to enter the battlefield? This will cause a large number of medical ninja casualties. Medical ninjas are not easy to cultivate, the number is scarce, and they can't afford losses at all. No, absolutely no, medical ninjas can't be on the battlefield. How could Master Tsunade have such an idea? It's impossible for this kind of proposal to pass. Of opposition, and Tsunade's face was very ugly. Sarutobi Hiruzen saw that the meeting place was chaotic like a vegetable market, and said coldly, "Quiet." The venue was silent for a while, but then there was a very small buzzing sound, and some people couldn't help it, and the meeting was originally allowed to discuss, as long as it didn't affect the meeting process. The sound was not loud, and Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care anymore. Tsunade, have you ever considered that once a large number of medical ninjas die, it will shake the foundation of Konoha, which will be irreversible? On the podium, Kaharu Udatane next to Sarutobi Hiruzen took the lead in attacking Tsunade, with a very serious expression. I thought about it, Tsunade replied, but it's just an assumption. As long as it's set up properly, this situation will never happen. Like me, maybe it's not appropriate to use my own example, but you know, I was born with the strength I am today, and I have grown to where I am today. I graduated from the ninja school at the age of 6. After I became a genin, I began to perform missions with Jiraiya Orochimaru. I have experienced more dangers than many ninjas have ever seen in their lifetime, but I'm not dead. Nonsense. Danzo interrupted Tsunade's words with a slap on the table, and said angrily, you are not only a medical ninja, but also a taijutsu ninja, can you compare? Tsunade's face turned cold, she wanted to strangle Danzo. Okay. Sarutobi Hiruzen settled the situation in time, he was afraid that Tsunade and Danzo would quarrel. Let's vote directly. Those who agree with this proposal, please raise your hand. Tsunade raised his hand decisively and agreed with his proposal, of course. In the venue, everyone else looked at me and looked at you. They basically shook their heads and didn't express their opinions. A few people raised their hands to express their support for Tsunade, but 2 of them slowly put their hands down again. They can't stand the pressure of being stared at by a group of people around them. Tsunade's face was bitter, and she was obviously embarrassed. As expected, she regretted it a little. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced back and forth, the approval rate was less than 2%, and it was hopeless. He was about to open his mouth to announce, but he heard a voice. I agree. Luhan, who was wearing a mask, raised his hand and said hoarsely, I think this proposal should be passed. Danzo sneered when he saw it, and knew you would agree, but it was of no use. Chapter 0594_Terrible Energy. Anbu Captain Han Guang raised his hand to show his support and even spoke. In fact, at this time, no one except the proposer was allowed to speak, but when Han Guang spoke, no one dared to criticize him. It was his daughter-in-law. No problem. At this time, most people thought that Han Guang just didn't want to make his wife look too ugly. Luhan raised his hand, and the 8 Anbu ninjas sitting in other positions also raised their hands to show their support. This is not unexpected. On the rostrum, Danzo next to Sarutobi Hiruzen took a sip from the teacup and kept his eyes on Luhan. It was a mocking look. The two had a deep hatred between the two. Danzo was honest for half a year, but it didn't mean that he would let go of his hatred and be able to be in the public eye. It is also a pleasant thing to see the Han Guang couple lose face. Luhan noticed Danzo's gaze and remained calm, waiting for someone to express his opinion. Support. Another important figure raised his hand. Suddenly there was a lot of discussion. This person turned out to be Hyuga Huyang. Hyuga Huyang expressed support, and all the Hyuga clan ninja raised their hands, which was surprising but also reasonable. Why? Because Han Guang is the son-in-law of the Hyuga family. The eldest lady of the Hyuga family is his daughter-in-law. Hyuga Huyang supports Tsunade's proposal to give Han Guang face. Hyuga Huyang, who was sitting at the other end of the first row, looked at each other and nodded. He understood very well that Hyuga Huyang didn't really support this proposal, but was just trying to win over himself and meant to be close. His support, or the support of the Hyuga clan, could not turn the situation around. They were just pretending. Anyway, it doesn't affect anything, and it doesn't matter if you support it. As the Hyuga clan expressed their support, some ninjas from the small clan attached to the Hyuga clan also raised their hands, but not all of them. Some of them also understood in their hearts, just pretending, this fun is all right. The approval rate quickly went from less than 2% to more than 20%. The energy of the Hyuga family is terrifying, and that's not all. If Hyuga Huyang really wants to pass a proposal, he can at least drive a support rate of more than 35%. And if the Uchiha clan did not block the Hyuga clan, then any proposal put forward by the Hyuga clan would definitely be supported by more than half. Hyuga Huyang, shameless and lowly, flattering cold light, don't even want a face. Danzo scolded in his heart, the approval rate of more than 20% is not low, although the proposal is impossible to pass, but it is not too embarrassing, and lays the groundwork for the next proposal. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at the audience, and because someone hesitated, he raised his hand and said, "Is there any support?" If not. At this moment, Lu Han tilted his head, his eyes crossed 7 or 8 people, and fell on Uchiha Lei-yang's face. Uchiha Lei-yang felt it, turned his head to look at Lu Han, and immediately nodded his head in a vague way, then raised his hand and said, "I support it. I think this proposal is very feasible. It can reduce war losses, you can try it." There was an eerie silence in the venue. Many people looked at Uchiha Lei-yang with incredible eyes. The Uchiha clan actually supports Hengguang. Even the ninjas of the Uchiha clan have some understanding, but Uchiha Lei-yang is the clan leader, and he has already said it in the clan. The small and medium tribes of the Uchiha tribe immediately raised their hands. The master Konoha of the Uchiha tribe has the power of life and death, and has stronger control over the vassal tribes, surpassing the Hyuga tribe's control of the vassals, so those ninjas raised their hands very succinctly. Many people are stunned. What's the situation? The 2 top Konoha tribes all supported this absurd proposal, to give Han Guang face. Is it too much point? Hyuga Huyang also looked at Uchiha Lei-yang with incomprehensible eyes, and cried out in his heart, "Damn. The support of the 2 clans is likely to lead to the passage of this proposal, and Hyuga Huyang does not really support the proposal, but he can no longer express his opposition now. Isn't that a public slap in the face?" More and more people are raising their hands. The Uchiha clan and their hardcore vassals all raised their hands, and those vassals of the Hyuga clan who had not raised their hands also raised their hands and had to raise their hands. Otherwise, where would the Hyuga clan's face go? It can't make people feel that the Hyuga family has fewer vassals than Uchiha. A herd effect has been triggered. Some people see the situation as wrong. It seems to be a well-written script. The 2 top clans expressed their support. The proposal must be approved. You don't support offending people. You support the icing on the cake. Hatake Taishuo next to him with his elbow, tilted his head and said in a low voice, "Give me a face." Hatake Taishuo's face was strange. It was meaningless whether he raised his hand or not, but Lu Han had already spoken, so he still had to give face. Hatake Taishuo raised his hand, followed by members of the S group. Jiraiya and Orochimaru raised their hands long ago. They were not optimistic about Tsunade's proposal, and they didn't support it, but they didn't want Tsunade's face to be too ugly, so they raised their hands early, and the current situation was something they never dreamed of. The venue fell into an eerie silence. A group of people raised their hands, and some people were hesitant, but when they saw everyone around them raise their hands, they didn't raise their hands, as if they were aliens. A few large clans except the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan, such as the Inuzuka clan and the Aburame clan, they are not vassals of anyone, and they do not need to cling to anyone, but they also raise their hands. Which is what Sarutobi Hiruzen means. However, when more people think of it, the cold light is terrifying energy. The proposal. Tsunade has a high prestige in the village, but it cannot be exchanged for support. But after Han Guang's statement, the situation began to reverse. The Hyuga family expresses their support. Uchiha show support. Part S Hitaki Sakumo shows support. Anbu controlled by Hangguang naturally expressed his support. On the podium, Danzo's face was gloomy and terrifying. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. The support rate has exceeded 90%. Chapter 0595_years are silent. Tsunade couldn't even believe that such a result would happen. Her original purpose was just to gain some support, and there were very few people who supported her. Until Lu Han made a statement, the situation suddenly reversed. It's like there is a big hand that controls most of the people present. Many people suspect that this is the meaning of Sarutobi Hiruzen, otherwise it would be impossible to gain the support of the two clans, but Tsunade knows that this has nothing to do with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen is against it in private. This is my man, he said this proposal should be passed, it's true. Tsunade looked at Lu Han, his eyes sparkling. The silence in the venue continued for a long time. The number of people who finally raised their hands to show their support has exceeded 200 ninjas, with an approval rate of more than 95%. This is a very scary support rate. No proposal has received such high support before. Any proposal is definitely not what the people want. Yes, it is definitely not. If so, should the proposal still be used? A decision is made at any high-level meeting, and there is no need to vote on the proposal. Therefore, although most of the previous proposals have been passed, the highest approval rate is only 80%. Sarutobi Hiruzen has already raised his brows, making it impossible to see what he is thinking. Danzo was going crazy with anger, but he was repressed. There was even a trace of fear in his heart. Cold Light is already a legend. Whether it is now or in the future, he has left a strong legacy in the history of Konoha village. At this time, he is powerful and prestige. It's higher than many high-ranking Konoha figures, and if it continues like this, the consequences are dire for Danzo. Lu Han is looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen also looked at Lu Han. Four eyes facing each other. Both eyes were calm. Lu Han was wondering if Sarutobi Hiruzen would use a veto. He could do so, but the consequence of doing so would be to publicize the current unfriendly relationship between the two, and Konoha might have some uncontrollable turmoil as a result. Lu Han firmly believed that Sarutobi Hiruzen dared not move himself. Because I have done nothing wrong, I have never done anything wrong to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen is known as the greatest Hokage. He has been promoted to the altar. Standing too high, he can't get down, so he can't move Lu Han without reason. It will ruin his reputation. In the past, dirty work, it was Danzo who did it, but Danzo was no longer a threat to Lu Han. Proposal passed. Sarutobi Hiruzen announced decisively, no more nonsense. But no one looked at him. They were all looking at Lu Han. To be precise, it was Captain Anbu Hongguang. Focus. Tsunade sitting beside Lu Han couldn't help but sit up straight, holding Lu Han's arm, like a proud peacock. She is not the kind of person who covets fame, but at the moment she is excited, as if she has never been so beautiful, all because of this guy beside her. People, her husband, her man. Cough. Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed lightly and said, the next proposal. The meeting continues. One after another idea or plan has been proposed, approved or rejected, and many people have appeared to be in a wrong state and have many worries. The conference went on to 5 o'clock in the afternoon and was about to end. The last two proposals are both important and even interesting. The penultimate proposal, proposed by Kaharu Udatane, is called Konoha Birth Plan. In simple terms, it is to urge married Konoha ninjas to give birth. The purpose is for Konoha, future. War will inevitably kill a large number of people, adulthood. Ninjas die in large numbers, and if there are no descendants, Konoha's future will be finished, and there is nothing more important than descendants. The proposal received 87% support and passed with a high vote. For the next 3 years, Konoha will reward all ninjas who have offspring. Hatake Kakashi, Ueni Rin, Might Guy, Sarutobi Asuma, Yuhi are all born around 34 years of Konoha. Could it be because of this plan? Lu Han thought. This guy is Sarutobi Hiruzen's youngest son. Sarutobi Hiruzen was only in his 40s, and Sarutobi Bawako was in his 40s, so he was considered an advanced mother when he gave birth. The last proposal, proposed by Hyuga Huyang, adjusts the expenditures of major tribes. Simply put, cut back. Hyuga Huyang first took the initiative to reduce the funds given to the Hyuga clan by Konoha, and also hoped that the village would reduce the funds given to the tribes and use the remaining money for the war. This means that the major tribes take less money from the village, spend less on the village, and spend more on their own. The proposal is very offensive. Lu Han wanted to come to this proposal, which was Hokage's will. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't reject Tsunade's proposal before. As Anbu's captain, he naturally had to show his support for the face, but he didn't let the Uchiha clan come along with him. In the end, the proposal narrowly passed with 52% approval after a period of controversy. The conference is over. Time flows like water, and the years are silent. 2.5 years later. 35 years of Konoha, April. The past 2 years, many major events have happened in the ninja world. For example, Hatake Tsukumo's identity has completely changed from darkness to light, and his identity as the original captain of Konoha Anbu has also been known to the world. The name spreads all over the world. The Kumogakure village in the Land of Thunder invaded the Land of Earth in February of the 33rd month of Konoha. It took 4 months for Sunagakure village in the Land of Earth to recover the lost land, but was dragged down by the war in the Land of Rain and was unable to counterattack. The Sunagakure Corps was repeatedly hit hard on the battlefield of the Land of Rain, losing to Konoha in 6 large-scale battles. The third-generation Kazekage once sent a peace messenger to Konoha, but the request for peace was rejected. Because of the rumors of Sunagakure's request for peace, Hanzo was dissatisfied, and the alliance between Sunagakure and Omegakure was cracked. The Ninja World War, which has lasted for more than 3 years, is still going on, and the entire ninja world is riddled with holes. After 3 years, Lu Han has not left Konoha village for half a step. Lu Han's home, a warehouse-like indoor training ground. Boom! A thunderous explosion suddenly resounded through most of the Konoha, and the flames ripped through the training ground into the sky, and thick smoke billowed. The whole Konoha was shaken. Chapter-581-600 The kitchen is a great place. Outside of Hangguang's house, in all directions, figures appeared on the roofs of many high-rise residential buildings. They looked at the billowing smoke from Hangguang's house, but they did not panic. They knew that this was not someone who attacked Hangguang's house. Just get used to it. Master Hangguang's strength has improved again and again. It's a terrifying talent. It has been growing for a few years and has not stopped growing. Yeah, according to legend, after the last time the practice field in Lord Hangguang's house was broken, Lord Hokage was asked to personally strengthen it with a seal. Unexpectedly, it was broken. Just learning from the clone is so destructive. If it is really fighting with life and death, I don't know how much damage it will cause. Speaking of Hangguang, the senior ninjas standing on the tall buildings were full of awe. Hangguang hadn't made a move for a long time, and he rarely saw anyone. But the growth of Hangguang's strength is well known. This is not the first time that Hangguang has caused damage to the surroundings during the cultivation process. The first few times even disturbed the entire Konoha. All the strong Konohas rushed to the scene of the incident, which almost caused confusion. Whoever does not have eyes dares to trouble Hangguang. All the disturbances in his house are caused by himself. Cold light home. The flames have ripped apart the huge warehouse-style training ground, and the surrounding ground has also been greatly affected. Fortunately, it is far away from the main building, otherwise his entire home will be destroyed. In the ruins, the 17-year-old Lu Han looked at the faceless man opposite him with a dark expression on his face. Naturally, he made such a big move by discussing with the faceless man. After adding up to nearly 3 years of concentrated practice, as early as half a year ago, he was able to defeat the 60-level gold boss-level faceless man with sword skills. After that, he unlocked the ability of the faceless man. Only Sharingan and Hiraishin were not available, and the faceless man was copied. His ability, no matter how strong he grows, as long as he does not enter the 70th level, the faceless man will not be weaker than him. Lu Han is not to blame for what happened today. It was originally a ninjutsu battle with the faceless, and this house was bearable. But the faceless man, who is skilled in strategy, actually put Lu Han in the ditch again, and released Kaden Fire Style and Raiden Thunder Style in succession, causing a chain explosion, which could not even withstand the seal imposed by Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. You bastard! 2 figures appeared on the edge of the ruins, one large and one small, 2 graceful women, but it was Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning. The one who cursed was Tsunade. She was about to be mad, and her face was full of anger. How many times have you said it? Don't practice at home. Don't be at home. Why don't you listen? The back mountain forest isn't enough for you to toss around. Tsunade held the cooking shovel in his hand and gestured excitedly. Right. In the ruins, the gray-faced Lu Han was covered in blood and looked badly injured, but Tsunade didn't care at all. She was not used to it, but was already numb. Hyuga Luoning was tearful and felt sorry for Lu Han, but Tsunade was training Lu Han, and she didn't dare to speak. Lu Han looked innocent, looked at the faceless man, then looked at Tsunade, and said with a shy smile, "Isn't this going to be lunch?" "I just thought, just practice, I didn't expect." Tsunade was so angry that he was almost out of breath. He turned around and left, ignoring Lu Han again. Lu Han demolished the house every 3 days, and no one could stand it. Lu Han was helpless and waved his hand away to put away the faceless man. At present, many people in Konoha already know about the existence of the faceless man, but they are all wrong. The faceless man looks exactly the same as Lu Han, only the skin color and face are different, and he has all the abilities of Lu Han. Lu Han put a mask on him. After the gloves, even Tsunade can't tell the difference between him and Lu Han. You know, the faceless man has no face, but as long as he turns on Sharingan, he has eyes. Therefore, everyone now believes that the faceless man is Lu Han's clone. Lu Han also made up a lie, saying that he developed a special clone ninjutsu for training. Lu Han walked out of the ruins. Hyuga Luoning immediately took out a handkerchief and wiped the dust and blood on Lu Han's face. 18-year-old Hyuga Luoning's body is much plumper, thanks to Lu Han's hands, and the areas that are not big enough are developed. She looks so distressed and tears in her eyes. She has been married to Lu Han for 3 years, no matter what. She would not object to what Lu Han did, unlike Tsunade who dared to pull Lu Han's ears. Okay, it's okay, I'll go take a shower. Lu Han wiped Hyuga Luoning's tears, but because her hands were too dirty, Hyuga Luoning's face was also stained. The two entered the Wen Izumi bathhouse next to the main building. There was no Wen Izumi here, but Lu Han used ninjutsu to change the underground and created it. After soaking in the pool, Lu Han let out a sigh of relief. Hyuga Luoning also took off her clothes and went into the water. She just wanted to wipe Lu Han's body, but she saw that Lu Han's eyes were hot. This bath took a full half an hour. Izumi's bathhouse dressed neatly. Hyuga Luoning's cheeks were flushed, and her walking posture was strange. She was no longer a bride, but Lu Han was too strong, so it would bring her some inconvenience every time. Back in the main building, Tsunade was still busy in the kitchen, getting angry, and the meal was still to be done. I'm really angry, so I won't try to persuade. Hyuga Luoning pointed to the kitchen door, but she ducked back and didn't dare to go in. "My dear, I'm really angry." Luhan shouted a bit mean, super numb, and when he entered the kitchen, he hugged Tsunade's waist from behind. The meat knife was put down. "I promise there won't be another time. Come, kiss one, don't be angry." Luhan's hands began to be dishonest. "Oops, what are you doing? Go away, let go, don't be like this. Cold, Kushina is coming back. It's bad if she hears it, can't be here. It's noon, I'm cooking." Tsunade was still stubborn at first, but then it was over, softly begging for mercy, but Luhan didn't let her go. "The kitchen is a great place. Quite interesting." Hyuga Luoning listened outside, his face became more and more yuhi, and he spat secretly. Chapter 0597_shame. Hyuga Luoning's legs were still weak. When she heard the sound of panting coming from the kitchen, she scolded, "Pervert," secretly, and Yuhi ran out of the main building with a face. She had to go outside to guard. Usually this is the place no outsiders will come, but Uzumaki Kushina will come back for lunch at noon. Sure enough, within 10 minutes, the little girl in a capable ninja suit appeared in the yard with a whirlwind. Uzumaki Kushina is already 10 years old. After her birthday in July this year, she will be 11 years old. In fact, she is no longer a little girl. It was her hair, the long yuhi-colored hair was draped down to the waist, and it looked very beautiful when the wind blew. "Huh, Sister Luoning, you're exhausted, what's there to eat today?" Kushina looked tired and walked into the room. The practice room over there was in ruins. She saw it, but she didn't think it was strange, so she didn't ask any more questions. Hyuga Luoning hurriedly stopped her, and her thoughts changed. "Go take a shower, you sweat so much, your body stinks to death." As he spoke, he tapped Kushina twice on the shoulder. "Don't worry, don't bother, I still have tasks in the afternoon, I want to eat." Kushina begged, but she was dragged by Hyuga Luoning to Wen Izumi's house. She dared not let Kushina enter the house, she was too young, those messy things can't let her know. Bad man, he knew that Kushina would come back, but he still messed up. Hyuga Luoning scolded Luhan for a while, dragging Kushina, and diligently gave Kushina a bath for half an hour, until Kushina protested. Hyuga Luoning allowed her to climb out of the pool. When the two dressed up and returned to the main building, the battle between Luhan and Tsunade was over. The food has also been put on the table. In fact, when Kushina came back, Luhan felt it, so he accelerated the progress. Tsunade's face is still yuhi-yuhi-s. The fine sweat on his forehead has not been wiped off, and he will pinches Luhan's waist from time to time. Kushina has always been a big kid. In fact, she already understands some things, but she can't say anything. Her eyes are rolling around, looking around, as if she is watching Luhan's jokes. "Cough, eat." Luhan coughed lightly and took up his rice bowl. Tsunade quietly twisted under Luhan's waist again before he took up his rice bowl. Although his movements were hidden, Kushina still saw him, and she snickered. Luhan smiled helplessly. In fact, he didn't want to act nonsense in broad daylight, regardless of the occasion or location. He had no choice but to be anxious. Actually, Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning knew the reason, but they didn't dare to say it outright, for fear of hurting Luhan. 3 years. Hitaki Tsukumo got married when Konoha was 33 years old. He married a ninja from the S department. Might Dai also got married in the same year and married Anbu ninja. In recent years, Konoha has married a lot of ninjas, and the number of marriages much higher than in previous years. The reason is that in response to the call of the Konoha birth plan, Sarutobi Hiruzen urged the younger generation of Konoha ninjas to get married and encouraged to have children for the future of Konoha, and even he and Sarutobi Bawako also gave birth to a child. Is Sarutobi Asuma Hitaki Tsukumo's son, born in Konoha Sanshi 4 years, is named Hitaki Kakashi. Might Dai's son, also born last year, is named Might Guy. Now, they are still little babies less than 1 year old. Luhan was very melancholy. Everyone who should be married is married, and everyone who should have a son has a son, but Luhan has no children. Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning's stomachs have never moved. Luhan dares to swear, he is really exhausted, but it is don't let them get pregnant. Shame. Lord Han Guang is infertile, has long been a topic of conversation among the senior ninjas in the village in their spare time. No one doubts Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning, because it is not that one is not pregnant, but both are not pregnant. The eighth problem is that Han Guang is responsible. For this reason, the grandmother of the Hyuga family also brought Hyuga Luoning back, saying that it was an inspection. Sarutobi Hiruzen also talked to Luhan, of course, to comfort Luhan and said some things. You, Ri's still young, you get married at the age of 14, you can't give birth to normal, and so on. All bullshit. In the Sengoku era, people who became fathers at the age of 13 or 14 were everywhere, and it was not a matter of age at all. No one has looked for Tsunade, and no one dared to say this in front of Tsunade. The reason is that Tsunade is a medical ninja. In the past few years, he has repeatedly cracked the poison configured by Chiyo on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain. The name of the medical saint has been passed down. In the world of ninja, Tsunade can't solve things by himself, so he can't count on anyone. Second, Tsunade's bad temper is well known, and no one dares to chew his tongue in front of Tsunade. Luhan felt bitter. He knew better than anyone else that the problem lay in himself. Elf, is it true that I can't have offspring? Could it be that I can't have children in this world? Luhan couldn't remember how many times he asked the elves about this question. The elf's answer every time is, the special body does make it difficult for the subversive to have offspring, but it is not absolute. It is just a small probability. Luhan can have offspring, but the probability of getting the woman pregnant is low. In other words, he has to work harder. In fact, if Luhan can marry 100 wives, he is guaranteed to get pregnant within a year. But he can't do that, so he can only work harder on his 2 wives now, which is why he acts irresponsibly regardless of the occasion and time. Reason. After lunch, Anbu Ninja came to report, Hokage summoned. Hokage building, Hokage office. A few years later, Sarutobi Hiruzen looks a lot older. This ninja war has made him exhausted, and he is setting an example for Konoha in every aspect, even when it comes to having children. Look at this. Seeing Luhan coming, Sarutobi Hiruzen threw a scroll to Luhan. Luhan took it and looked at it, then frowned and raised his head. Visit the Land of Thunder. This is a plan to visit the Land of Thunder. Yeah, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. I'm going to let you go to Kumogakure village, the Land of Thunder, on my behalf. Luhan was taken aback. It's been 3 years. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally gave him a mission to go out. Chapter 0598-Negotiation Tasks. For 3 years, Luhan did not leave Konoha. It wasn't because he didn't want to leave. With his identity and strength, he wanted to go out. Sarutobi Hiruzen would definitely allow it unless he wanted to turn against him. Luhan just didn't want to go out. That's it, because he hasn't completely defeated the Faceless Man yet. Now his strength is basically the invincible existence of the 60-level Golden Boss, and it is not a problem to challenge level 70. In other words, his strength is not far from Sarutobi Hiruzen. In fact, he really wanted to go out on a mission after he had the same strength as Sarutobi Hiruzen. In this way, whether he kills Kazekage, the most powerful third generation in the legend, or kills demigod Hanzo, or kills Onoki, it is enough for him to have the prestige to compete for the position of Hokage. Thinking of these, Luhan is a little fortunate. Fortunately, the Second Ninja World War was not an era of pervert. Senju Hashirama has long since died, and the old man Uchiha Madara can only rely on Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, to hang his breath. After all, Konan, Nagato and others are still young children and are still wandering. Uchiha Obito was born last year. Uchiha Itachi is still a genetic chain in someone's calf, not to mention the 2 main protagonists of the original novel, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. It is still a question whether they will be born safely, because their mothers are all related to Lu Han. Lu Han sighed that he was also waiting. Unexpectedly, the task came so suddenly. Moreover, this task is of great importance, and it is difficult for Lu Han to refuse. Lord Hokage finally let me out. Lu Han didn't wear a mask, his smile was a little strange. Humph. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted coldly, without explaining. Sarutobi Hiruzen saw Lu Han's growth in his eyes. He no longer dared to regard Lu Han as a boy who could be needed at will, but Sarutobi Hiruzen did not think Lu Han was a threat. Perhaps because Lu Han has been too honest in recent years, he thought that Lu Han's heart had been settled, and he had receded from the arrogance of the year and became calm. He hadn't noticed what Lu Han was planning. If he knew now, maybe he would slap Lu Han to death, so as to avoid future troubles. Why didn't Lord Hokage go in person? If it was me, wouldn't they think they didn't take it seriously enough? Lu Han looked at the content on the scroll and said, "The mission of visiting the Land of Thunder has two purposes. One is to communicate with Kumogakure. The village has an indefinite truce, and the second is to mediate the war between Kumogakure village and Iwagakure village, so that the Land of Earth can concentrate its strength and fully respond to the war in the Land of Rain." Do you think they don't know who you are? Every time you practice, you make such a big noise, for fear that others won't know that your strength has improved, huh? Sarutobi Hiruzen said angrily, "Although you haven't been outside for a few years to perform tasks, but on the assassination lists of the other 4 major countries, your name is always ranked first. Konoha Anbu Captain Han Guang, the heir to the position of Hokage, only 17 years old." Ha! Quote. Regarding the Age of Cold Light, it is no longer a secret to the high-level leaders of the major forces in other countries. Because Hanzo knew that he hated Lu Han to death, so naturally he would release the news. The cold light has been dormant for several years, but the reputation has not diminished, but a layer of mystery has been added. Lord Hokage, can we talk properly? When did you say that you would let me inherit the position of Hokage? When did I say that I wanted to be the next generation of Hokage? It's all rumors. Rumors are not credible, it's a tactic to sow discord. Lord Hokage, don't be fooled. Having said this, Lu Han didn't feel how shameless at all. Stop talking nonsense. Sarutobi Hiruzen got up and walked to the window with his hands behind his back. Actually, it's not that I don't want to go to the Land of Thunder. Although Kumogakure village is a Longtan tiger den, it's not too dangerous for me, but I can't solve it if I go there. Any questions? You also know that I have played against each other 6 times in the past few years, and there is no winner. He is a madman who wants to beat everyone in the world. If I go to Kumogakure village, he will probably end up with a duel as a requirement, a condition of negotiation. Quote. So I can't go. Although I won't lose to him, it's hard to beat him. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to look at Lu Han, but you are different, you are young, you are a junior, you represent me, but you don't have my strength. If I still wants to face, he won't trouble you, you just need to try to persuade them in the most normal diplomatic way. What Sarutobi Hiruzen said is well-founded, and he also made a decision after considering it for a long time. Kumogakure village is really dangerous. I still remember that more than 20 years ago, the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobarama went to the Land of Thunder to negotiate an alliance, but an accident happened. Senju Tobarama died, and second-generation Raikage also died. A blood feud has been committed, and this diplomacy is like history repeating itself. If you are not careful, it may repeat the same mistakes. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind, Han Guang was the most suitable candidate to go to the Land of Thunder, no one else. Because the cold light is strong enough. Although Hatake Sakumo has been going hand in hand with Hengguang in recent years, his strength is not weaker than Hengguang, but he is too soft-hearted, not cold-hearted, and his too restrained style is not suitable for negotiation. This is where Sarutobi Hiruzen is disappointed with Hatake Sakumo. Half a year ago, in order to rescue a large group of Konoha ninjas under siege, Hatake Sakumo exposed their whereabouts and made the other party take precautions, which eventually led to the failure of the task of stealing intelligence, which Sarutobi Hiruzen could not tolerate. He is very disappointed. If such a person goes to negotiate, as long as the other party threatens to use the lives of some people, he will lose the initiative. But Han Guang is different, not that he is cold-blooded and ruthless, but that this guy is simply daring. Dare to do anything. Do you understand? As long as you complete the negotiation with the Kingdom of Thunder, you will be the biggest contributor to ending this ninja war. Your fame will reach a new height, isn't that what you think? Lord Hokage is really well-intentioned. You don't have yin and yang anger there. I know, you have resentment in your heart. Right or wrong, you and I can't tell right now, but time waits for no one. If the negotiation is completed one day earlier, the war can be ended sooner, don't you understand? Don't shout, I'll just go. Lu Han put the scroll in his arms. However, I have to choose a few people to take with me. Chapter 0599 White Zetsu, Madara, Black Zetsu, Hanzo. Normally, if Lu Han travels on behalf of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the entourage should be decided by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Diplomatic etiquette is still required, and there may even be high-level officials from Konoha. As the captain of Anbu, Lu Han can only bring his own people. It was Anbu's. He said that he would choose a few people, but of course they were not from Anbu. You can choose anyone. If you want to choose the one in the outbound mission, you may have to wait a few days. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Kataki Tai Shuo, Lu Han said immediately. Okay. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Naturally he wouldn't embarrass Lu Han about this kind of thing. I'll have someone inform him. Kataki Tai Shuo is a member of S Division and follows White Fang all the time when he is out on a mission. After leaving the Hokage building, the sun was just in the west. At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Lu Han went to the west of Konoha village to have a look. Naturally, he would not patrol the village in person, just to see Uzumaki Kushina. In the original book, Uzumaki Kushina graduated from the ninja school at the age of 10, but in this world, with Lu Han's personal teaching and supervision, Uzumaki Kushina graduated from the ninja school before the age of 9, and now she is about 11 years old. She is already Chunin, so absolute genius. Currently, Uzumaki Kushina is serving in the garrison. She usually patrols around the village. It is impossible for her to enter the battlefield, because she is a Jinchuriki column force from Kyubi, 9 tails, and her strength is not strong enough. Accidentally, that would really be a disaster. It's not without reason that Lu Han went to see Kushina's patrol. Because it was recorded in the original book that she was kidnapped after graduating from the ninja school. Kumogakure village, the land of thunder, was having a headache trying to control the 8 tails, so she took her away and wanted to take her back to study. In the original book, she graduated at the age of 10. She was arrested after graduation, that is to say, she was arrested by Kumogakure village this year. It's incredible, and I don't know how Kumogakure did it. So Lu Han had nothing to do and went around Kushina. Seeing Kushina, Lu Han returned to the mountain behind Konoha. Instead of going to the Anbu station, he took the opposite route to a forest next to a large lake. Come out, Lu Han said hoarsely. A big tree on the side immediately grew leaves and a white body. White Zetsu. Be precise, it is the clone of White Zetsu. Lu Han got in touch with Uchiha Madara 3 years ago. After that, Uchiha Madara wanted to see him all the time, but the old guy refused to come to the village in person. He always urged Lu Han to go out to meet him. Not to mention the danger of life, even if something uncontrollable happens, Lu Han will not be able to say it. Lu Han once mentioned to White Zetsu that he should keep a clone in Konoha for easy contact. Uchiha Madara agreed to this matter. At this time, the clone that appeared on the tree next to him had been hiding in the back mountain for 3 years. According to Lu Han's request, he could not walk around. He really had no need to walk around. If you agree, you can't if you don't agree, otherwise Lu Han will definitely kill him. In half a month, I will leave Konoha, and then I will. Lu Han briefly repeated the plan. You go to inform, there are not many opportunities like this, If it is not necessary, I do not want to be with him. See you. White Zetsu said nothing and retreated into the trees, and the insight map showed that he was gone. A day later, somewhere in the country of fire, in an empty and huge underground cave, 4 large braziers with a diameter of several meters were suspended at the 4 corners of the cave, and dim light enveloped the entire cave. The white-haired old man sat cross-legged on the futon, with his hands on his knees, his eyes closed, as if he was dead and motionless. Right in front, on the moss-covered stone wall, half a white man suddenly grew. He only heard him say, "He will leave Konoha in half a month, and he will be in the northern part of the country of fire." White Zetsu explained the details again. The extremely old Uchiha Madara seemed to be breathing suddenly, his chest began to rise and fall, and he said hoarsely, "Is he finally willing to come out? Hiding in the Konoha village for several years, what does he know? Is he afraid of me? Why not? Without the protection of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he dared to come out." His voice became deeper and deeper, as if he was talking to himself, and his voice gradually disappeared. "It's been a while. Notify Hanzo," Uchiha Madara said. "Yes." White Zetsu took the lead, retreating into the wall and disappearing. The land of rain, this small country that was used as the core battlefield, has been devastated by years of war, and has become a hell on earth. The ghostly hungry people would scuffle and even bite each other for a rice ball of miscellaneous grains, like wild animals in the forest. A high mountain, the north side of the mountain is a cliff, which hangs down like a knife, and there is another cave above the cliff. The vines hang down from above, and the cave is covered by 7 or 8, which is extremely hidden. Black Zetsu stood at the entrance of the cave, looking at the village burning with flames in the distance. The corners of his mouth evoked a cold arc. He is satisfied. In this troubled world, he has a share of the credit. No one has done more than him. He pretended to be an Omegakure ninja to kill Sunagakure ninjas, pretended to be Konoha ninjas to kill Iwagakure ninjas, killing people and provoking everywhere. There is no strength to go to the 5 major ninja villages to pull Kiba from the tiger's mouth, so they have to kill each other and let them weaken each other's strength. When they use the tailed beasts to participate in the war, Black Zetsu firmly believes that the glory of God will shine on this land again. Damn it, he's finally willing to come out. Wait until Hanzo kills him, and let the news spread throughout the ninja world, then. Hey, Black Zetsu muttered coldly, took a few steps back, and gradually disappeared into the darkness. Abandoned mine at night. It's you again. Hanzo looked at the dark figure opposite the magma pool, his eyes full of coldness. What's the matter this time? You dared to play with me last time. I haven't bothered you yet. You dare to come to me. He's leaving Konoha. I guess he has a mission. Black Zetsu said. I didn't expect him to hide in Konoha village for 3 years. This time he comes out, I'll give you a plan. You kill him. Commission 150 million. Chapter 0600_crazy idea. 150 million. Is he worth so much? Hanzo had doubts after giving too much money. He always felt that there was a conspiracy, but the investigation could not lead to results. It doesn't matter if he is worth it or not. What matters is that I am willing to give so much. According to our black market information, Hengguang is the most talented ninja since the establishment of the 5 kingdoms. There is no one. Black Zetsu praised the landing without hesitation. He knew, the harder the blow, the more Hanzo wanted to kill him. He is a threat, not only to you, but also to the entire ninja world. It's a pity that you didn't catch up with the era of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. If you have experienced that era, and you understand how terrible it is to have such a person. Quote. Is he also a threat to your black market? Hanzo asked. Black Zetsu didn't answer, just said, 150 million taels. I can pay you a deposit of 50 million taels first. After the completion of the matter, the remaining 100 million taels will be sent directly to a Megakure village. As long as you agree, I will immediately give money. I agree. The fool refused. He had a grudge against Hengguang, and he would kill him if he didn't give him money, let alone give him money. That's good, Black Zetsu said. Get ready, I'll let you know when he leaves Konoha village. Konoha village, deep in Anbu station. In the training ground, the two figures were as fast as ghosts, only a mass of light and shadow was left, and there was not much entanglement. As you came and went, the knife light was sometimes like a thunderbolt, and sometimes it converged like still water. It was completely filled, and there was no gap to avoid, but the flames were suddenly torn apart, and the sword named Jing Hong seemed to be pulling the space to pieces and slashing at the man in front of him, but the figure was illusory, and he was clearly about to be stabbed to the point. But when the phantom opened and closed, twisted to avoid it, then pinched the seal with one hand, divided it into 9, and launched a violent counterattack. The blood splashed, and a large amount of clean water fell, extinguishing the flames, like petals flying, and 10,000 wind blades swept around like a storm. He heard, ding ding, there was nothing left. The man with the knife turned the shadow of the knife into a barrier to resist the attacks of thousands of wind blades. It was still difficult to be airtight. Stop! Lu Han couldn't take it anymore and couldn't help shouting. The faceless man immediately stopped releasing the flower and rain cutting technique, and stood up when he received it, like a dead thing. Fuck, it's really not something that people can do. Lu Han was seriously injured, and even his bones were broken by the wind blade. He took out a big Yuhi bottle and took it. He lost this game. In fact, in the last 100 faceless fights, he has never won. It's not that he can't win, but he has a crazy idea. He wants to know where the limit of swordsmanship is, so he delusionally defends the S-level futon, wind-style, forbidden technique flower rain cutting technique with swordsmanship. If anyone knew that he did this, even Sarutobi Hiruzen would definitely think he was crazy. This is impossible at all. As we all know, Lu Han knows how violent the Wyu cutting technique is. Back then during the chaos in the back mountains, he killed the entire Uchiha Patriarch's guard with this technique in his breath. However, the extremely elite ninja squadron composed of a group of elite Jonin and super elite Jonin was instantly killed by Lu Han. This technique will release countless wind blades in all directions at the same time. At the same time, hundreds of wind blades will hit and attack the human body. This is because the human body is too small. If it is larger, it will suffer thousands of wind blades. Attack. A sword is not a shield. Using a sword as a shield requires extremely terrifying frequency of swinging the sword, with hundreds of knives in one breath. Lu Han has already done it, and he is still pursuing to be stronger. And now, he can hold on for a few seconds under the attack of the flower rain cutting technique. After this time, he will slow down his swinging speed due to the arm soreness, and a wind blade will hit him like a fish slipping through the net. Lu Han felt that there should be no second person in this world, so he could take the art of cutting flowers and rain, but not Sarutobi Hiruzen. Even the third-generation Raikage had to get a Thunder Shield armor to try to resist the first resistance. I don't know, how does my swordsmanship compare to Hanzo? Lu Han thought. He understands that even if his swordsmanship is no worse than Hanzo, it does not mean that he can defeat Hanzo, because Hanzo and White Fang are not pure swordsmanship ninjas. They are both half ninja and half ninjas. However, Lu Han is not a knife either. Jutsu ninja, it can even be said that swordsmanship has never been his main ability, he just relies on swordsmanship to break the bottleneck. A few years, he has made terrible progress not only in swordsmanship, but also in ninjutsu. Kaden, Fire Style, Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation. He was abruptly trained to LV9. You know, Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation is the top A-level Kaden, Fire Style. The power of the LV9 Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation is enough to surpass most S-level Kadens, Fire Style, but the chakra consumption is too high. Captain, Hitaki Sakumo asks to see you. A respectful voice sounded from outside the cave. Oh, are you back? Lu Han replied, I see. Hitaki Sakumo is back, and it's time for him to hit the land of thunder. In the root station, in the cave full of curse marks, the figure in the blood robe was locked in front of the metal Jinchuriki column. Senju Senro. The deadline is approaching. The forces of Yin Dun and Yang Dun are colliding more and more fiercely in his body. Since both forces are foreign, he has no ability to control these two forces. Now, he is already on the verge of death. The last time he fell into the madness lasted for 9 months, and he just woke up for less than a month. It is estimated that in another month, he will fall into madness again. At that time, it will be his death. I have said to Hokage, "You are dead, you are now in Konoha, a non-existent person. I forged your ashes with your blood, and everyone in this world thinks you are dead except me dead." Danzo walked slowly into the cave. "What do you want me to do?" Senluo raised his head to look at Danzo. The pair of bewitching Yuhi pupils were bloodshot. "One last task for you." Danzo stood in front of Senluo with his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold. "Cold Light is about to leave Konoha. You go and kill him. As long as you do it, I promise, you will raise your son to adulthood."